And welcome back to the Basil Breen Boombox. Oh shit, actually, I should have asked you. What do I introduce you as? Vagabond Queen or
Vagabond
Anne?
Queen.
Vagabond Queen.
Vagabond
But I do
Queen.
have my own name, of course. I'm here with Anne, the Vagabond Queen, a.k.a. the Smithfield Sorcerer. Now, the reason is because I kind of got this vibe when I first seen her. Actually, the first time I seen you was at Minty's, I think. And you might have had your book with you. You definitely had a hat of some kind.
You had glasses on, didn't you?
I think I might have. I got laser eye surgery.
Ah, yeah.
But now I can see the world. It's actually amazing. Don't be distracted by intro. You know what I mean? So she was basically doing these kind of incantations in a way on stage. I felt it was very powerful, very raw. And it was my kind of first experience at an open mic, actually, in Dublin. And I was very especially with Kaycii there as well. I was overwhelmed sort of by the level, like by the actual written material, the amount of it, and just how good it was. And I was like, oh shit, this is like legit. Like, you know what I mean? It's not like fucking. But so then I met her then at the Smithfield Creators, where she co-hosts. Is that the right way of phrasing it?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, it's co-host, where she's whipping up spells in between people coming up and down or whatever. And then actually you've been doing this kind of thing, I think just for over a year, similar to this podcast actually. So our creative children have been outgrowing up in the world, like around in the same place, but they've been separated by distance.
Separated by birth.
Yeah, until now. And I love one of your lines actually in one of your poems. It's a voice for my voiceless past. And I love that line, and I suppose it's a good kind of jumping off point in a way. Sort of, how did you come to write, I suppose, first and foremost, and how did this all begin? How did the Vagabond Queen get born?
I've been writing since I was about 8. So I used to always journal, diaries and things that. Dear diary. I fancy such and such a person down the road.
Your top 5, was that it? Yeah.
No, but I always wrote stories and little drawings for them and stuff like that. But I always kept a lot to myself. So when I was in school, obviously, to save the slaggins.
Okay. Never
talked about it. I was always good at English. And I always wrote songs without doing music or anything for a long time. And poetry, things like that. So that kind of developed when I developed my own confidence in myself as a person, rather than within my art or anything like that. I started delving into music a bit and played a few instruments, and then I came to sing.
Oh.
So I was in a band for a bit.
No way!
Yeah. I used to be a singer. I'm retired now, you know.
Oh, fuck's sake.
Might come back. Might make a comeback someday.
I see there's a video of you singing, but anyway, keep going.
So the lads used to write riffs and music bits. I'm not very good at the language.
Yeah.
But I used to write poems, so I'd put my poetry to their music, and then I'd form it into lyrics, so not all of it would go into it. So that happened for a while, so that kind of ended maybe 3 years ago.
Okay.
And then I was down in Smithfield one night out in the square, and I was there with a friend, and I said I'd come back the next week, and I was like, I might try a bit of poetry, and then I was like, I might try to get back into singing again, a bit of music. So I was like, because I never stood by myself in front of a microphone.
Yeah.
And I used to hide behind the band. I was very, very self-conscious, you know.
Yeah.
So, I just stood up, shaking, phone in hand, in the middle of fucking October, and I said a poem that used to be a song. It's actually called Won't Let You In.
Wow.
It's one I'm in our garden now, so that was the first one I did. And it all went from there.
That set it all kind of in motion.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? So
that was like a turning point when you got up.
Yeah, and then just start doing it. So my intention was maybe I'll do this for my confidence, see how I can do this by myself, and then I get back into the music. But actually, I prefer doing the poetry because I like working by myself. I like managing myself.
Yes.
Do you know, because you're
accountable to yourself. You don't have to rely
there's no
on anybody
conflict.
else.
There's,
yes.
Do you know what I mean? It's
exactly,
nice to collaborate.
100%.
But I'd rather do this for myself instead of doing the whole band thing again. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, partnerships of any kind, there's always compromise, and sometimes, let's say if you give me feedback, right, then I can use that feedback, but I can choose whether or not to use that feedback. But if we're in a partnership, I have to, like, even if you have an idea, sometimes I have to force it onto my idea in a way. And partnerships can be good for kind of creating something that's better than the whole. But for me, like for creative works and even for my business stuff now, I've learned that I like to work. I like to just be accountable to myself and have kind of full creative control, and just be able to just do whatever I actually want, like in a weird way. But I really like this idea of just stepping up and just saying, I'm going to get up and I'm just going to do it. What was your, because you have a great sort of tone and sort of your cadence and your rhythm, and it's your the way you hang on certain words and like, oh, and it's really powerful. Like how was your voice the first time?
Oh, jeez, shaking.
Oh yeah,
I shit myself. Do you know, it ran up, ran off, said you up the moon. That was it. Do you know what I mean? And now it follows me and I'm cursed with it. Like.
you up the moon.
I'm fucking sick of it. No, but like, I was shaking. The phone was going 90 in the hand. My voice was cracking a whole lot, you know. And I've always had this inner strength, and I've been through so much in my life that I've learned to shout back at my demons, and I've learned to speak to them too.
Yes.
So when I'm standing up there, I'm not doing art for follows or likes or applause or anything. Like, I'm doing it for my own healing. And if that can help someone else to heal and understand, then that's an absolute honour. Do you know that way? Like, so
that's beautiful.
It's just that inner. I used to go therapy a lot when I was a teenager and after certain events in my life, and I've either always left or else I didn't feel like it was the right person I was speaking to. So I still kind of always hung on to all this stuff, and the best way I've ever learned how to deal with that was either through singing or through poetry. Do you know, because you're getting something out of yourself.
Yes.
Do you know, and it's them little rhythms and things like that actually, like, I don't know how to describe it. It's like little pulls in your body where there's conflict hidden and little knots in your stomach that eases it. Do you know what I mean? It's kind of meditative in a way, like, so.
Yes, you're sort of massaging your psyche in a way. And even with the words, sometimes I find with writing music, I don't really fully understand what the song might be about, let's say. Because, let's say, we all have a particular taste when we're writing for a particular sentence. We choose one sentence over another. We choose one word over another, right? And our taste is sort of dictated by a lot of stuff, right? Like, we have, our taste for coffee, our taste for tea. We have a taste, like, your taste is what makes your work your work. Like, I don't like that, I like this. And there's something I think that I've seen in my own stuff, sort of at a subconscious level, that I'm not fully aware at the time. I'll be like, this feels right to me. Maybe, and I can't understand why, but this sentence in this way, just, it feels right to me. And then after the fact, I'll be listening, I'll be singing it back, and then over time I'll be like, oh, that's about this.
Yeah,
or I can see that.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then giving a voice to your voices past is such a powerful thing to sort of to realize that, like, and then to look back at your past and say, that was a person that was having an experience, and to try and nourish and look after that person like your inner child in a way. So yeah, no, I think that it's just very powerful, the whole idea. And then seeing your story, because it's so interesting now, because I was like, oh, she's not even doing this a fucking year, and her writing is like this good. What's going on? So I'm really happy to hear that you've been writing for so many years. Actually, what's kind of do you remember like the first bit of writing that you were sort of proud of in a way? Is there anything that sticks out?
Not really, to be honest. I remember I wrote an essay sometime in secondary school. And I don't know where the story came from, but it was all about domestic abuse and being a child in the situation. Do you know that way? I don't know where it came from. It wasn't like graphic or anything like that, but it was from what the child could hear going on in the next room, things like that, you know what I mean? Events and stuff like that. So I ended up getting an A in it, but God love the fucking teacher. She was on the student herself. She's going there. I think it might have been a pity A or something.
Oh my goodness!
No, but I was proud because I was learning all about alliteration and things.
Yes.
We used to get like handouts. I was mad interested in English in school. I was barely there, but I still loved it. Like, you know. So all these kind of different ways of how to use language and put them together, and paragraphs and grammar and things like that.
The building blocks.
Yeah. So we used all them while I was writing that story, whatever concept that came into my head, and I don't know, read over it then after I got it back, and I was like, it's actually pretty fucking good, even though it's very sad, but you know what I mean?
Like, you can see that's what it's interesting how that sticks with you though. You know what I mean? When you're actually the first time you that glimmer of this thing that I created, I'm proud of it in a way, and then that's I think the sort of usually like the initial seed. Ricky Gervais has a good story similar to your story actually. Like a teacher kind of was like fair play, like gave you the A or whatever, and then because it's when you know you've put in the work as well to sort of get that, and it's a beautiful thing when we find that though. You know what I mean? Because I think a lot of people. Maybe they just like I think there's something for everybody that we can really get our teeth stuck into in a way, but we just have to kind of find that thing. And I think actually poetry and the written word is one of the more accessible, because well, hopefully even if you can't write, hopefully you can speak, right? And in this day and age, we have audio transcription or whatever, so you can formulate your ideas and have it being transcribed into text. So the barriers to sort of being able to partake in sort of creative written work, they're lowering all the time. And then the idea of like actual words. So with a song, for example, right, there's melody, there's like verses, there's choruses. Let's say there's more rules, let's say. Poetry, well, I'm not actually aware of too many of the, like I know like stanzas or maybe a particular rhyming scheme, or there's a certain particular refrain that you'll repeat in certain places. Like so I suppose for you, like what to you when you read a poem, like what makes it a good poem to you? Like what are some of the things? It doesn't have to be all the things.
I'm not gonna lie to you, I don't know all this stuff about like the proper ways of writing.
I don't have a
and I do laugh at it, do you know way? Like,
but what would make you go, oh, that's nice, I like that?
The meaning behind it, what's being conveyed,
the word, like
the feeling that person wrote about.
Yes.
Do you know way? When explaining, maybe it was a situation, maybe it was a feeling, maybe it was something they observed. You know, it's that feeling they're putting out there, but that you interpret. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's something that's thought provoking.
Yes,
do you know?
Like the spirit of what that thing is, and what it instills in you as the reader. Maybe would be one way of saying it. Because there's many ways to like look at a piece of work and appreciate certain characteristics of it. Like for me, I love. There's so many things I love about it, but I like rhyme and stuff. That's why I love listening to like rap. Really, not that I used to listen to a lot when I was younger. Actually, not that I'm a rapper or whatever.
Would you rap? Would you?
I could probably write a few bars.
Yeah,
like, I'm not gonna lie. I feel some of my. I actually haven't. I have this now that I've seen loads of people perform. I think I'm gonna do stand-up comedy next week at one of the. Now it's really dark because I had this idea to write comedy years ago, and I've have loads of written comedy, but the idea is to I'd love to do all the arts.
Yeah,
I'd love to because I have poems that I've written for at certain points in my life for women and mostly for women, so I'd love to actually do like a week of like doing all the art forms in a way, you know what I mean?
Fucking do it.
Yeah. No,
you can. Like,
yeah. But so what is there? There's like there's
comedy.
There's comedy.
There's music.
There's
poetry.
There's poetry.
You could do some interpretive dance.
I'd
love to see it. That'd be great.
What actually? Yeah. So what? Because on the whole landscape of things that I've seen, interpretive story, even the spoken word. What's the minimal like? So. For me, right, it's hard for me to write poetry that doesn't rhyme, because I'll explain this now, because rhyming actually makes writing way easier, right? Because if I write a sentence like this coffee is black, then I have to rhyme with the, let's say in my particular rhyming scheme, the next sentence has to rhyme with the first sentence, right? So then I can only pick from all them words. And it doesn't have to rhyme explicitly with black. It can kind of have a sound like attract. It doesn't
Like
end,
a similar sound.
or similar
yeah,
sound. Like that's what good rappers, especially Kaycii, he's really good at double rhymes and stuff. Where he can stretch the sound of a word to make it rhyme in a way. And same with Eminem, like door, like orange is a classic example. But you can do like door hinge, syringe. Like there's all these sounds that you can kind of force into it. But when I see poetry that doesn't rhyme, I feel like that's like it's like going like swimming without a paddle or something.
I like it, but I can't do it myself.
Yeah.
I've heard likes of I don't know if you met Siobhan Hickey or anything. And sometimes
must have
Annie
seen
Peter.
her.
I think Annie Peter's maybe one
Annie
or two. Or maybe she
Peters
does
is
it.
one of
She's
the
insane.
greatest,
Man.
like,
She's
for me
fucking
personally,
class.
like-
Do you know what I mean? And what a lovely person. as well.
Yeah.
They have things that don't rhyme sometimes.
Yes.
Do you know? I just sit there and I was like, how do you do it? Like,
I know.
How I can write small bits that don't rhyme, but I have to. It's in my nature. It's like even if the last word doesn't rhyme with the last sentence in the next one.
Yeah.
Like I might do a run on into the next thing.
Exactly.
I don't know how to explain it. Look,
It's
I
hard-
can
no,
write it,
there's-
but I don't know how to explain it.
there's
So, but
different-
he's like, how? Like,
There's
how do you
different
do it?
types of rhyming structure. So the one I like to use as an example, and it's a really good one, the Oasis, right? So today is going to be the day that I'm going to throw it back to you, right? So then you have the first bit two rhyming, to you, by now you should have somehow realised what you're not to do. So see, there's like 3 different rhymes in that. So the first 2 days is going to be the day, and then you rhymes with the next part, the next block.
Yeah,
And it's real
yeah.
clever rhyming actually. And if you I actually use that a lot, just because that's like my taste. I have a taste for that because you get to go ba 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 ba, and then blah. I can't really explain it, but see when you have them structures, and even any type of rhyming, it gives you a sense of where you're going. But like Annie Peters, like so she meanders into these fucking like patterns of words but it's her cadence and it's her rhythm and how she sort of emphasizes particular words. It's hard to explain, but when you watch it, you're like, this is brilliant. You know what I mean?
But what I love about her work is it's different reading it as opposed to seeing it performed, because
yes,
the way she flows her words and her accent as well.
yes,
You know, it's incredible.
that's why it's so.
You know?
I know.
And she moves with the words, and
Yeah.
it's a pleasure to see, because I only started seeing her perform at Smithfield not too long after I performed. I don't know if she was doing it beforehand, but that's when I kind of experienced her poetry.
Yeah.
And it's beautiful to see her growing. Do you know what I mean? Like I've grown alongside
Yes.
her. Like, do you know, and it's
You're seeing the evolution.
yeah. Do you
Yeah.
know, like the two of us have come a long way.
Yes.
And it's great to see, because she'd stand there on her phone and now she's all over the shop.
What?
Do you know what I mean? And
It's
it's
amazing.
incredible, man, and it's beautiful. Like, and it's lovely growing alongside
Yes.
these people and getting to know
and
them personally
supporting
as
one
well.
another.
Yeah,
And being
do you know?
inspired.
Yeah, of course. Like, that's what it's all about.
That is
you
what it's
know?
all
Especially
about.
in a community like this.
Yes.
Like, it's beautiful.
It
Like,
is.
it's
No, it
absolutely
actually.
lovely, like, you know?
The biggest thing. So I did a lot of busking before. I knew that I like open mics and stuff, and kind of get onto the meet other, because I had no sort of creative musical friends before like the last 2 months or whatever, let's say. And I knew that was the next sort of stage of my growth. But it's scary kind of when you have to kind of do a new thing, and you might think I'm a real expert, but it's hard even for me to like put myself in that shoes where I have to introduce myself or all this stuff. But when you these ecosystems like the open mic scene, even if you weren't a creative, right, it's fucking brilliant, right? There's a whole system out there, and like there's performers and musicians and poets that are fucking brilliant, bands that are brilliant, and like you can just go and see them for fucking for free,
For free,
basically.
yeah.
Yeah,
We're getting
And
robbed.
You can see, no, but it's like they're at the like. You're putting your your finger on the pulse of culture in a way. Like the emerging art of the times is being born in these places. And if you're any sort of fan of music, like obviously people that like music, because it's one of the most fundamental, ubiquitous sort of art forms that people just always will. If you heard, some people actually don't hear separate like notes, so they're actually tone deaf in a way. I think that's what that is. So they can't really enjoy music and remember music in a way. So there are some people that can't really enjoy it. So, but what I'm trying to bring it on back to, right, is that the going to these things and for me, I was hugely inspired to push myself to, like, I was looking at people's hands on the guitar. And I'm like, because I've never done any lessons. I just learned everything myself.
Did you learn yourself?
Yeah, I did everything.
Yeah.
I've never done any fucking formal anything. But then when I'm just looking at people's hands and I'm like, look at how he's moving the hands. So I was walking around town, right? Especially after watching a student MP3. Fucking amazing, right? But the one thing I just took, his hand is like, it's disconnected from his wrist. It's like this, right?
It's a fake hand.
Yeah, it's a fake hand. I've never seen it. I was looking at it. I was like, and I'm like, I don't move. So I'm learning to move my wrist more because of that, right? So I walk around town like this. Like, I literally like this. I don't give a fuck. I'm in my car. I'm trying to loosen up my fucking wrist.
The next car beside you.
I don't give a fuck, man. People have seen weird shit in my car, I'll tell you that much. I do my vocal lessons in my car as well. Like, I have like a Spotify playlist that I found. Because you can always be getting better and singing everything, right? I've just been like, how can I start improving in all these domains, right? Because I'm seeing what's possible in a way. And then even with the writing and stuff, seeing the caliber in a way, it's like, what if I push myself to try and write? For me, like, let's say the Albatross and stuff, like written poetry, that's like the content of that is beautiful in a way, and it's the content and the meaning behind it, and the kind of cleverness, without lack of a better word. But from songs, for me, there has to be something memorable about a song. So even if the chorus could be fucking really simple and not as extravagant as what you might find in a poem, but that's what gives the song for me. So I'm trying to be like, how can I make my songs more memorable? What are the parts of that in a way? Like, okay, the chorus, like, and how many syllables am I putting into this fucking sentence? Like, can I make it simpler? Can I even sing it myself? I found, even going back, I've learned so much. Even after circle sessions the other day, I was singing a song, and I've found a way to cut about a fucking minute off the end of that, because I was like, singing it, I was like, oh, this is going on too long. And there's this interaction with the crowd, even though they're not saying anything. I'm learning that I'm not comfortable with this length of time in front of people, and so that is a kind of conversation with the performance in a way. And then I went back and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna fucking reformulate this now.
Right.
So the art evolves from exposing yourself to more art as much as you can. Even, I know I'm going off on one here, but this is a really good insight that I learned, right? So when we are listening to music that we like, we'll only we'll say, I don't like that, I like this, right? But at the open mics and stuff, right, you're exposed to a vast array of different...
All sorts.
All sorts, right? Some of it won't be a cup of tea, some of it will be, right? But what I've realised is that listening to stuff that's not your cup of tea actually helps you realise what is your cup of tea. So when you look at that, it's like, why don't I like this? And then when you understand why you don't like it, then you better understand how to do stuff that you do like. And I only had this realisation, like, I think 2 days ago. And it was like one of these epiphanies. I was like, that's why my writing's gotten better. I think personally, from my perspective, is that I can understand more of what I think doesn't work in a way. And that's not to say, like, some people will listen to my stuff and think this is fucking terrible. Some people listen to your stuff, think it's the fucking worst as well. Like, there's like a vast array of like likes and dislikes, and you're not going to be everyone's cup of tea. So
no,
I'm not saying just whatever's not my cup of tea and what is. Everyone's cup of tea is going to be different. Like yours has a bit of more milk in it or whatever.
Coffee in it.
Yeah. My tea has coffee in it.
No, I find if something's not your cup of tea, you can still sit there and listen and appreciate the... Like, I might not like a pop song.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? Someone might get up and play a pop song, but you can appreciate the way that they've formed it, the way they've written it, the words that you're hearing and whatever they're singing. Do you know that way? Like might not be easy on your ears.
Yeah.
Do you know? But there's parts you can always take and enjoy.
That's the
Do you
best
get me?
bit.
Like,
There's always parts that you can enjoy. There's always parts that you can appreciate. If you just and you don't have to make it up as well. Like there's always something that you can find that's it's like the silver lining. It's like, oh, if I'm in a wheelchair, it's like, well, at least I have my arms, or at least I have
I can
this.
go faster down the hill.
Yeah. All right.
Touch wood.
Looks like touch was really slipped in her hole there. I think that's beautiful. And then the fundamental thing as creators that we can appreciate is that they're getting up and they're doing something.
Doing that fucking
they're
thing.
fucking doing it.
Yeah.
And no matter, I don't give a fuck what you're doing, right? If you're getting up and you're putting something out there, like honestly, like I'm fair play.
It takes a lot of you to get up there, you know what I mean?
Yes, and even like you've had your experience of like, I think I've described it as sort of coming out as a musician in a way, because like maybe for years, I think I was like 24 and I picked up a guitar. I moved to London. I was kind of like, I couldn't even sing in front of people when I first started. Do you know what I mean? Even in front of my girlfriend at the time. Like I was telling her I was writing all these songs and stuff, but she'd never seen no one heard me sing because I was so afraid.
Yeah.
But then you find your voice in a way, and so when you see people out there, that's why I want to. And then if you encourage what you like, then not only will you see more of that in the world, because but then you're helping people realize what's working and what's not, or what's resonating and what's not. But yeah, so the whole open mic scene, I think, has just been it's just opened my eyes in a way. Like you've been doing, I suppose, the Smithfield thing. Where is Smith? I don't think I've been to Smithfield, as in the actual real Smithfield.
Smithfield, the place, like where Smithfield Creative started.
Yeah.
Adam started it. Look, I might say the wrong information.
Yeah.
Don't quote me, but I think he started it as like a meet-up during the lockdown, to let people know where people were playing or something, like maybe a busking thing.
Yeah.
Like, maybe he could tell you himself one day if he comes on.
Oh yeah, no, I have him. I have him on the list. Yeah.
Yeah, but it all started then. People, I think he started jamming with Paul Hum.
Yes.
You know him.
I seen him at one of them.
Jason O'Hara and Andy Kelly and a few other lads, and he's obviously playing the cajon. And they all just started kind of meeting up, jamming, and then you kind of had this time format. Other people wanted to come down and play, so he started off in Smithfield Square, just outside. What's that shop called? Fresh.
I don't know.
Some fancy fucking spar or something, you know.
Yeah.
But
fancy spar.
Started out there, and then people started coming along. You got a gig in the Cobblestone. A few of us played at it, and then we went down to Barbara's Bar. So it's like a travelling fucking circus.
Yeah.
You know? So we haven't found a home yet, but just to say on Smithfield, it's an honour to actually be able to work with them and help them out. Because they, like, obviously Adam gave me spots. It was almost every Wednesday I was doing it during this year, last year, like not last year, the end of last year, but it's beautiful to be able to give back to something that gave me so much, you know what I mean? Got me out my shell again, you know, so it's fucking beautiful. It's lovely seeing people getting up all the time, and, you know, first timers, comebacks, everything, like, you know what I mean? So it's
you
a
get
great
to see
place,
people getting up for the first time, because at the circle sessions, your man Seamus, I think is fucking, he's a brilliant host, isn't he? Like, he keeps it so fresh. Like, I don't think he gets enough credit, right? So, like, I've gone to a few of these, right, and I still hear new jokes. I still hear new stuff, like, and I'm
but
like,
he thinks of something like that.
I know.
You know?
I'm so impressed. Actually, I'm so fucking impressed. But there's something. Someone got up for the first time, and he was alluding to this. He was like, it's that's why I love seeing people getting up for the first time. Just nothing better, really. And that's what you kind of get. You get to see people. Because I've had a few experiences where I've been busking, and people come up to me and say, can I play the guitar? And I'm like, yeah, come on, get in. They asked the right person. And I remember I met one guy who came from, could have been Bulgaria, and he was literally just in the country like a few hours, and he's seen me, he was asking me how the busking works. And I was like, oh, like what? He literally came over to fulfill his dream of going busking, because he was too afraid to do it in his own country. He went on a holiday. Yeah. And I was just like, spent the whole like few hours like getting him set up, helping him with a fucking, telling him all the stuff, and then we got him going. And I was like, this is fucking amazing, right? So like, you can have these all these beautiful moments are sort of waiting, and even for ourselves, like the hero's journey is we're if we push ourselves into the unknown, and there's people I've met. When I'm busking in Temple Bar, there's this lad Shane. If Shane's listening to this, I can't find you on fucking Instagram, right? He needs to get to these open mics because he starts freestyling, and I'm just and he's just going off, and he's brilliant at making up these hooks. He's really.
What's the second name?
Shane. I don't know. When I seen him the other day, and I went because when you see, it's hard to remember everyone's name, but I went Shane.
Oh, you point across around. Hey, are you?
Yeah, but it's only the second time I knew him, and when I got his name right, I was like, yes, I'm the king of names, because I never. It's hard to remember people's names, but you take a shot at it. You know what I mean? And then, but anyway. There's all these people out there, and then trying to get him to go to the open mics. I was like, you need to get on them. I was going to send him a list, but I couldn't find them, unfortunately. But from doing the Smithfield creatives, you sort of alluded to the fact of like how did you get started as a host in a way?
Jesus, I think Adam just asked me. Adam asked me to help, so I was like, fuck it, yeah. Course, I'll help you. Like,
but in terms of like, you're making that first introduction to your first person. Like, what was that like?
Oh, Jesus. It was fucking shocking. It was dreadful. I'm still not used to it, do you know what I mean? Look, I'm more a performer, that comes first.
Yes.
I'm a writer first, and then I'm a performer second, and then I'm a host after.
Yeah.
You know, but I don't know if I'll stick to the hosting, but I'll do it for now, you know?
Yeah.
I'm still fucking dreadful at it. I still introduce people wrong.
Oh, yeah.
I make terrible jokes, you know, like only certain people might get them, but most of the time it goes well, you know?
Yeah. Like, it's not, yeah.
I'm still learning, everything's
still
a learning
learning.
curve, do you know what I mean? So, fucking hopefully it gets better.
Yeah.
Not great.
But you earn the confidence in a way, like when people, even when I first went to the Smithfields once, like maybe it didn't show because when I get nervous, I probably just talk more and get louder, and like I combat my nervousness with being like, I'm totally not nervous. You know what I mean? But like I remember like just feeling so uncomfortable the first few times I went. Now I'm real super comfortable because you're so inviting. You know what I mean? Like, and you support. And it's a great ecosystem, and everyone supports everyone in a way, as much as I can see anyway. But you earn your confidence. You can't just be confident, I don't think.
No, you can't just walk into a bar and say I'm a barman.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
You need to earn your fucking exactly.
Yeah.
So if you never start the thing, and even the podcasting, when I was literally talking to you about this, like just over a year ago, I was just sitting here. And I was trying to record myself on my phone, right? And my brother, he's always recording videos. And I sat down a few times and I just couldn't get comfortable doing it. And I was just asking him, I was like, how do you do it? How do you just talk in front of a camera? Now, if you turn the camera on, I could just be like, blah, 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 blah. Because I've learned, but you learn so much from doing things. And you learn so much from doing things for the first time, I think, which people don't realize. Like, try everything at least once, because trying something once gives you like 80% of the value of doing the thing, because you learn heaps from just doing something once. You'll be so surprised, because I do loads of stuff. Let's say I'm doing the podcast, I'm writing music, I'm writing like fucking software, like so. Basically, I'm writing in loads of different ways. I'm writing ad copy for my brother's business. I'm writing business fucking plans and stuff. So it's like I'm writing in all these kind of different ways, and you kind of see overlap in a way. So the more you do, the more your brain has to sort of pull from in a way. I can't really explain. So with the hosting, you could see how it's not your forte, but being able to get up and speak and introduce people, that's obviously helping when you're performing, getting up in front of a crowd in a way. It's helping that in a bit.
It does in a way, but I find I'm more confident performing and introducing my own stuff.
Yes.
Than I am with the hosting at the moment.
Yes.
Because the hosting is totally new to me.
Okay.
Never done it in my life.
Yeah.
Ever, like, do you know what I mean? Like, so, if I'm having a bad day, say, like, I've been having a bad few months with my job, like I was telling you about before. And if I'm having a really, really bad day, saying that, and I go up to Smithfield on a Wednesday, that'll interfere with it. Do you know what I mean? My mood might interfere with how I'm
Yes.
introducing someone, and then I go home feeling bad because I'm like, I probably did a
I
bad
fucked
job.
up,
Do you know what I mean?
That joke, God, what
do
was
you
I
know,
doing? I got their
I didn't
name
say that.
wrong.
You know, but when it comes to if I'm having a bad day and I'm performing, I'll go home feeling 10 times better.
Yes.
Which is mad, but I think it's because I'm more used to that than I am to.
Well, there's more.
Do you know
I
what I
can.
mean?
You can kind of see. They're very different in a way. The performing is something you have more control over, right? Because it's something that can be rehearsed, something that you've internalized, something that you've worked on. Whereas like the hosting, you know, you're just kind of, you're not really like sitting down writing like you're fucking host and stuff. You're just kind of winging it, and then you're learning from winging it. The more you wing it, the more you can wing it.
But it's like stepping out of your comfort zone. Do you know what I mean? Like you have to find your feet in it.
Yes.
Whereas poetry was out of my comfort zone. Now it is in a way in my comfort zone. Whereas the
Yes.
hosting is just totally not.
Interesting.
Do you know what I mean? But
So when, like, how do you feel that you've developed in terms of a poet, a performer? Like, what are sort of the key insights or key sort of differences in, you know, the Vagabond Queen before she touched that first microphone and got up for the first time, to the woman right here in front of me? Like, what is there anything that you can point to and say, this is different?
I feel like my whole life is different, to be honest with you.
Wow.
Yeah, it's mad. Like, because look, some people call it considered to celebrate yourself, but I think it's very important. Do you know what I mean? And like, might be
100%.
some people get up to, oh, I've been doing this for a year, but otherwise I'm just, I got up and been doing this for a year. Do you know what I mean? Like, yeah, celebrate with me, like, but no, I think it was either Kaycii or one of my friends. Anyway, he was saying, I feel older. And even like when I was making a little video for it, I was looking back on old videos and old photos of when I started October 2021, and I look different, and I feel different. I feel stronger as a person.
Yes.
I feel somewhat healed from the things that I escaped from, say, just before I started performing. Do you know? I feel more in control of myself, of my space. I feel a lot more confident in my abilities. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
I've always been social, but I feel more social. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
Like I feel like me.
Yes.
But
Less.
more me.
More
the me I
you.
was trying to walk back into.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? Like, but
The
different.
call. Yes, you're alluding to something really
that makes sense.
powerful here. Yes, because I think there's kind of a spiritual pull to the person that's in the future that we could potentially be, let's say, right? And we get inclinations. Like, for example, when you felt, I want to get in front of this microphone, like, you don't really know why. You think you rationalize all these reasons why, but there's a part of me that feels there's certain moments and there's certain times in our life where we are getting called into the future. We're getting pulled into that potential future of the person that's within us and that's out there waiting for us to be and become. And we can either choose to to approach that call with either love or fear in a way, because it is anytime we're growing or there's potential for growth or potential to move into that future where we will feel more like who we want to be and who we should be, there's a blocker. There's blockers like, oh, I'm afraid, or what, I would do that.
We get in our own way. Like,
We get in our own way. And even before, you say you've been doing this for a year, but it's like you've been writing for so fucking long. You're just like, it's not just, people think there's a thing like an overnight success or whatever. Like, I've been doing this fucking shit. I've been writing for years, you know what I mean? And like, it's all, anything, any sort of, anything, if you look at me and say, oh, this is good and this is bad or whatever, the good stuff has been like, churned out over years of development in a way, like, and what you see now is the product of literal years of contemplation and thinking and everything. So, and even though you said you're doing it for years, it's like you've been doing this, it's taken you like however old you are, like, to get to this point. It's taken me 31 years to get to this point right now, and that's just the way it is in a way. And it's just great how you can sort of point to that and see, like, it's just so beautiful to be able to say I'm the person that I was supposed to be in a weird way.
Yeah, like stepping into the person.
Yeah.
That you always wanted to be, but knew you were going to be. Do you know
Yeah,
what I mean?
yeah,
It's
yeah,
like,
exactly. Yeah. And then when you can, because with confidence, and the confidence comes from when you know you're doing what you should be doing in a way, because there's moments in my life where I've had to make hard decisions of like, you know, I need to stop doing this thing, and this I have to have a difficult conversation about this now, because I know I want to try pursue like the music. I've been pursuing this in a more full-time role since like May, let's say, but since I made that decision, things have changed like drastically in my mind, like you know what I mean, and like I have all these planned now. I have like an album, I've producer, I've like all this stuff planned now, and I'm like, it's now or never. Now I have this is like it's all been building up. Like everything's coming to roost in a way. But it takes so fucking long to get there.
So you have to plant your seeds.
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean? Then you have to harvest when you're harvesting.
Yes.
You have to plant your more seeds after that. Do you know
Exactly.
what I mean?
You're the harvest. You need to keep the fucking harvest going. Otherwise, the families are gonna starve.
You're fucking famine in yourself.
Yeah.
You know?
But yeah, no, this is brilliant. And I just want to touch a bit on. I do not have paper.
No, it's
Grab your
the
phone.
coffee. The coffee's over.
Grab that and I'll explain what happened. So grab the A4 pad. Don't be a fucking peasant. Was I? Can I? Yes, please. Go, run. She just has to go do some drugs. We'll be right back after these messages. And we're back once again with Vagabond Queen. Vagabond Queen, thank you very much for coming in. Give me something. Where's your American accent?
What was that?
So yeah, there's a lot. There's loads more I need to get into actually. So I was wondering if you would be interested in reading a particular piece of writing.
Yeah.
Or actually, you probably know it, do you? Unless you, I mean, it's over there, beautifully written and gifted and signed as well. It actually filled me with so much joy when I got that. Like it really, it's just because I've been reading this so much and trying to like. This is what I'm really liking about this podcast now, right? Whereas before with guests, they've just been kind of friends and acquaintances. But like I love writing, I love words, I love the craft. So this allows me to really delve into it. And also, like, if I said, "Oh, do you want to just hang out for fucking like 2 hours, whatever?" I'd be like, I don't know, like fucking. No, you know what I mean? No, but it gives.
Want to be friends?
Yeah, like,
Are we friends now?
But you know what I mean? It's a great excuse, and you can get I can ask you questions, right? That you can't just if you ask in a conversation, it feels like too much. Like we know why we're here. We want to try get value for both of us and for you, the listener out there, and get fucking Vagabond Queen's work and story out. So she's gifted me this beautiful piece that she written called "Where the Albatross Flies." I just had to jump. Sometimes I just shorten it as Albatross in my head. Which is you've alluded a bit to the story, and I'd love to get into that after, perhaps, if you wouldn't mind giving us a spin of that.
Yeah, sure. I'll say something. I actually wrote that for you because you mentioned down in Smithfield about a line about us, so I thought that was mad how you were like, oh, I was thinking you could say this, and
I know.
So I mean, the universe works
the
in
line,
strange ways.
which we'll get into all that. I'm dying to get into this actually. But if you need, like, I have it printed out. But
oh no, sure I know.
You'll be grand. All right. Well, whenever you're ready.
I find the moment to tap into my peace within. I am still, I am grounded, and I breathe. I float in the water of my quiet thoughts, and I feel them as they cleanse my skin. I then swim towards the serenity that I hold in my mind's eye. I take refuge in this paradise within. Along golden beaches, I hear the tide come in. To and fro, they cleanse the grief of my self-proclaimed sin. And the waves entangle the guilt held inside my hard-working hands, like it carries the salt that blesses and softly kisses the sand. I come here for the comfort, for the peace of my mind, especially in the turn of this season where time always seems to unwind. And sometimes I see you, just across the way. You sit just like me, only across in another bay. Playing out our song like a conversation, we answer each other's call. Run away from the memory where the tower was struck, where it crumbled and it seemed to take its fall. And I can only explain it as an ocean between us, where the albatross flies and keeps all of our secrets, separating our physical terrains. You are still alive, you just exist on a different plane. I wasn't even in front of the mic.
No, you're grand. It's all right. I told you can't really mess it
It's
up.
over here.
Really appreciate that. That's another benefit of podcasts. I get fucking like one-on-one performances. Like this is fucking brilliant. I really appreciate that, and I really appreciate the whole thing that you are now. You know what I mean? And I'd just like to ask, like first and foremost, like, so where did this poem sort of come from?
So I think I was telling you before, a friend of mine died 11 years ago. There's a few of us up at Bundoran on a holiday. They were up there for the week. A few of us only came down for like 2 nights, and my friend fell off a building, on top of the building at an apartment we were all staying in. So he was climbing out the window. We got locked out of the second apartment with 2 of them. We're all drinking in the one, and the other apartment, obviously, we were locked out. So he was trying to climb out the window to go onto the roof because he thought it was flat. And the rain, like Basil the Rain, the 2 days we were there. Sorry if I'm mumbling on myself. It's still a really hard kind of thing to talk about.
You're fine.
Yeah, but I've never seen rain like that. It's like just really thick, fat raindrops, you know. The whole time it was raining down there anyway. So when he was climbing out the window, myself, my friend Kaycii and my brother were all at the window there. We were like, oh, stop. No, we'll get your man down. I know it's the middle of the night, but he'll come down. We'll get in eventually. If you can't get in, we'll stay in the other room. He's no, we're dying to get on this roof the whole week, you know. So there's a part in that poem, self-proclaimed sin.
Yes.
The guilt and all that. The last words I ever said to him, and he's a very, very close friend of mine. He was actually my ex's brother as well. He used to spend a lot of time in the house. So it was very, very close. What did I say to him? It was something like, oh, fucking do what you want, you fucking idiot, you know what I mean? And look, I know there's forgiveness there. Yes. I do forgive myself, but I still always kick myself over that, you know what I mean? Like, and obviously I know who he is, do you know what I mean? I know he'd forgive as well, but it's something that you'll always carry with you, do you know that way? So he fell off the building anyway, and then we were all there, so we were around him the whole night. The guards were there. It was not that it was gruesome. It was just I was 18 at the time. Yeah. So I was just seeing your friend kind of on the ground in that manner, and
woman here, woman.
Yeah, it was a change of innocence. Like it was a. Do you ever have a moment? I'm sure you have. Yeah. In your life where everything seems like everything, and then in a split second, it's
the true reality.
Your whole life has changed. Your whole perception has changed.
Yes.
Like things you see on TV or read about, it becomes so evident. It becomes so real. Exactly. Then it's not just a story anymore. It's like nothing's ever going to be the same again.
It's the fucking best way of putting it. Because your first experience, well, I don't know if that was your first experience, but any experience with death, especially, I suppose, of people that are a similar age bracket. Because let's say if a grandparent dies, we kind of have this idea of our head, that's kind of what happens in a way. But I've always thought, like, siblings and peers would be horrendous. But there is that, both my parents are actually dead, so my dad was 11, so that, I remember, it was horrendous. There was a moment where she was trying to be resuscitated. I was in my room, right? And I remember all I could hear was the fucking... there's this machine that they have. I don't know what the fucking machine is. I haven't talked about this in a while. But it kept us saying, like, no pulse. And I remember... I was just like praying. I was praying like to God, like please, don't, this let her live, like, come on. And then I remember my dad coming in, and like I'm like fucking 11, you know what I mean? And he's just had to tell me that like Ma's dead. And I kind of knew in a weird way, because she actually had committed suicide. So I was young at the time, and I was actually having these dreams. I can only remember the dreams, and in the dreams, like one of them, like my dad was telling me that my mom decided to kill herself, and I went in and she was burning in this room.
Wow.
It was real strange, but I think so. Like it's either there's a spiritual dimension and there's also a subconscious dimension. To maybe I could see what was going on, but I was so young that I didn't really understand maybe. And then the dream I had when she was actually dying, like that morning, I woke up with a dream. She was on my shoulders, and I was keeping her up out of the water, and like eventually she just disappeared. Like I was struggling. I was like, no, like come on, like keep up, like. And it was so fucking weird. But I remember everything was different after that because the reality of this whole existence becomes you see it. You see it for what it is. That this is temporary. Everyone that you love and cherish dearly,
Yeah, they're not gonna.
they're all gonna die.
Like,
Everyone is gonna die, and it's one of the fucking saddest,
harshest.
It's the worst.
Yeah, it's horrible.
It's actually the worst. I there's not a day that goes by where I don't think about dying and my own death, and that's what it's a massive motivator. It's not in a like kind of I'd be like I need to fucking do what I'm
It's
here
not
to
in a
do.
sinister way.
No, it's not. I'm not like I'm gonna die. I used to be.
No,
After my
but-
dad died, I got very nihilistic. Where it's like, what's the point? I was more atheistic and sort of rationally minded. Now I've had more. I'm more spiritually minded. Like I don't know what happens when we die, but I have a sense of a grander purpose. I don't know what that means. But I do feel that I'm gonna fucking make the most. Whatever existence I have, I'm gonna make the
How
most.
long I
out of it.
have, it doesn't
Yeah.
matter. I'm just gonna make.
I'm
the
gonna
most
fucking
of it.
make the
So,
most of it.
yeah,
And even
yeah.
this podcast, in a way, it's like if I did die, it's like at least I have a capsule for like people that love me in a way. It's weird. Everything comes back to that sort of fundamental realization of what death means. And I suppose then for you, it's not just the death, but then like how did that? Obviously, it changed your perspective, but then what was the group dynamic then, like with everyone involved? Like I say, it was just like
Oh, that was because I can't remember off the top of my head many. There was about 12 of us or something down there,
Yeah.
so it strongly affected the whole lot of us. Now there's a lot of people I wouldn't be in contact with anymore. Obviously,
Yeah.
we've seen each other, we'd have
Of
a laugh and a
course,
chat,
yeah.
you know. But
life
people
goes on.
grow away, like John and me from
Yeah.
each other, like. But no, it's very very affecting, as you know yourself. Jesus Christ, you were
Yeah,
11,
yeah.
like, and that was your parent, like. But
Yeah.
at such a young age, I don't know, like
We
it's
all
it's
have
just-
our
it's incredibly fucking strange. Not even look, if it happened today, if it happened in 40
know.
years, it'd still be strange.
Yeah,
you know, but
everyone.
it's-
It's just there's like there's a weird silver lining in that because everyone's parents are gonna die, and it's something that we all have to go through. And both my parents are dead now, so I've gone through that horrendous period already. So it's fucking so weird. But now, and like I was only thinking about this the other day. Like even living in this house now, it basically I kind of like, let's say, passed down to council, like moved on to our names. But like, and this is a horrible realization as well. I was lying in bed. I was like, because I was thinking everything is coming to fruition. And like it's finally the hens are coming to roost or whatever the fuck turns out. And then I realized like my parents had to die for me to be in this moment right now, which is crazy. Because there's lots of positives to this, and I wish my dad could see what I'm doing now, like because he'd love everything that I'm doing.
yeah.
Like,
Oh,
fuck's sake.
I'm
sorry.
No,
No.
man, it's hard.
No,
like,
it's
do you know what I
hard.
mean?
Especially because I
Of
wasn't
course
the
it is,
person
like-
that I was.
Because all we want to do is make our parents proud. Do
I
you know what I mean?
know.
Like, and like
Ah.
to be honest, I should take a note from your book because I keep a lot of what I do. Everyone who sees what I do sees what I do, but my father's only come to see me once because I've only let my father come see me once, and I know he's incredibly proud of me. But I still, not that he ever would, but I fear his criticism. Do you know that way?
Yeah.
Whereas I know if you see me up there, you're fucking
be
you're
the
the lads, you want to
That's
point
my
that down. You know, but like.
Because they're the fine. Your parents.
Even my own mother, lives in Galway. She's never seen me other than videos. Do you know? And I know she'd be immensely proud as well. But I'd still, like, I'm not ready. But God forbid something happened to them tomorrow, I'd feel the exact same as you. Do you know that
that'd
way?
be
Like,
horrendous.
it's horrible, man. Like,
Yeah, you should think about prioritizing that. I always even think, especially for parents, like we need to just say everything. Like it's not that I was just a fundamentally different person than I was back then. So like my brain is more developed, my spirit is more developed. So like just there was a lot in that, but you know, even interviewing your parents, like doing a podcast with your parents, because it's like, how did you grow up? And having that as a record in a way is a beautiful thing.
Beautiful thing to hang on
Yeah,
to.
and just have like, but and then like I'm saying with a podcast, like we can go way deeper into stuff like than if it was just in a pub. Like now, because I can ask you a story and you know that, oh yeah, I can just express this whole story now because that's part of this whole dynamic in a way. So the podcast. What I found, it elevates conversation to like a level that's higher than usual conversation. But what I just want to get back to, you should definitely fucking you need to perform for them.
I know, I will just I just haven't been there yet, do you know what I mean? But I will, of course I will, after hearing that, Jesus.
Yeah.
Daddy, coming down next week, yeah?
Yeah. It goes for all yous. And you should have that. You should tell them that you love them as well. Obviously, you know what I mean. But that's like a bait. Like I even found it with my uncles, who I'm very close with. I've tried to tell them that I love them, and I've done it, but I haven't done it in like it was too not as full on as I'd like it to be.
Yeah.
They're from a generation that's more, like sure it's grand. Like,
I like you.
It's hard to get it's hard to transcend just barriers in a way. Even hugging people. It's something that like our generation seems to be real into in a way. Like, and I mean that in a positive way. Like with our friends, like even my male friends and female friends. Like when I'm close enough to them, it's like, oh yeah, give us a hug when I see you, not just like a handshake.
Maybe give us a squeeze. Give
Yeah,
it over.
even my old boss Killian, who was I think he's nearly 50 now. But I've done 2 podcasts with him. But after our last podcast, I was actually probably listening to this now, which is funny. But I always had in my head, it's like, oh, I need to give Killian a fucking hug. I'm sticking these handshakes, and at the end of the podcast, like, I'll do a handshake, and then he just goes, fuck your handshake, and he gave me a hug, and it was like, it felt amazing, like to finally transcend them stupid invisible barriers that aren't even there, and we just get past them. You know what I mean? Or even just saying to people, like, anytime my family members are going away for a long period, like, I love you. Like, I'll tell them I love them then, at least then. You know what I mean? But they know I love you. But anyway, let's try circle it back somewhere. Yes, go ahead.
I'll touch on that for a minute. So I wrote that on his 11th anniversary this year, not on the day, but in and around that time.
Yeah.
And so I think we're fondly, and I like to think that I've accepted what happened. Do you know that way? But obviously, like, it's strange because I have in that poem, it's like, especially in the turn of this season where time always seems to unwind. It's like I could think of what happened any day of the week, any time of the year, and it still affect me, but I can get up and get on with it. But when I think of it that time of year, I'm an absolute mess.
Yes.
Absolute mess, because it's not just remembering who they were and them being our friend. It's this horrible thing attached to it that's really hard to get rid of, is the trauma of saying that.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying trauma.
No, yeah.
Common, you know. But the trauma, whatever it is seeing all that happening when you're so young and then living with that in you. Do you know what I mean?
And then the seasonal, it's like a seasonal memory in a way.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
certain...
And it's 60 in the summer, like. Do you know what I mean?
We'll be fucking summer.
I love summer as well.
Yeah.
But no, it's really fucking hard. So writing that poem really helped me. So like, sometimes I'll sit in the bath and I feel like it cleanses my aura and my space and everything. And writ that there, that's why I have a lot of relation to water in it and stuff. So sometimes I'm meditating, you know that song Albatross by Peter Green's Fleetwood Mac?
Yes, I was literally going to say that because it was clicking with the other Fleetwood Mac song, and I was thinking of that video of the albatross flying across the sea, isn't it?
So that's what it's in relation to.
Space.
An albatross is my favourite bird as well, so...
a lot of symbolism.
Yeah, there's loads in it. I'm really proud of that poem, actually. So I always kind of think of myself... And I'm in a really bad space sitting on an island. Sometimes my dog's there with me, do you know what I mean?
Yes.
But it's just clear. It's blue, seas, golden sands, everything else. But sometimes when I think about him, he's on the other side.
Wow.
Do you know that way? So...
That's so beautiful. And you said it, it's so beautiful how you set it up in the poem as well. Like the first part, is sort of about setting up your mind for that space in a way, like in your mind's eye. Yeah, I love that. I love like I take hold of my mind's eye because I can really relate to that in your mind. Like we all have our mind's eye, which is it's a strange phenomenon, isn't it?
Yeah.
Humans, we're just it's the craziest fucking existence ever, right? But the fact that we have something and mind's eye that we can focus attention on fictional stuff inside our own consciousness. It's absolutely blows my mind. Loads of things blow my mind, but that is one thing. And the fact that you're able to sort of elicit that sort of imagery in my mind's eye. I take refuge in my mind's eye because like meditation is something I've always kind of delved in and out of it. But with the open mics, when I go home, like I'm so energized, like because I'm just like I'm like the most extrovert person you probably ever see.
Most energetic
like
person
I love being around people and the attention's on me. Like that's why I don't like. I love that. You know what I mean?
Everyone loves that. You pick everyone up so much. You're like, oh, fuck.
But that's my personality. It's like it's just and it's not something that I'm conscious of. But it's like if I like analyze everything after the fact, I'm like, oh well, clearly. Like this is something that I like and I love doing. As in, this is my personality type gets hyped from people, and even on connecting, I'm just fucking networking like I've never networked in like ever before my whole life. But I'm enjoying it. I'm actually really enjoying meeting more people and encouraging and connecting. But it gets chaotic in your mind's eye in a way, and to be able to sort of bring meditations. So I'm getting back into meditation now because I need to get control over that because I'm just thinking, I need to stay there, I need to do that.
Yeah, you fucking explode. Jesus
Yeah. So I love how you set that up, and then suddenly, like with meditation, it's beautiful because when thoughts always come in and out. The meditation I think helps you, it helps you every time you realize you're thinking. It's like waking up from a dream, and then you build a stillness, and then something grabs your energy, pulls you in, and you start thinking about it, and then you realize you're thinking about it, and you wake up again, like, oh fuck, that was funny, and then it keeps going. You know what I mean? But that's what meditation for me is, and that's the beauty of it. And then you can kind of see then once you cleared the space, the self-proclaimed sin grabs your attention in a way. After you kind of set up that clear space, and it's so beautiful, especially now that, and then I love that line, held inside my hardworking hands. Like for me, it's just one of these like it's one of these lines that just encapsulates. I don't know if you've ever seen There Will Be Blood. Right, it's my absolute favorite film of all time. Right,
very bad. With
this
films.
one is I'm really bad as well. Right, but this one, it's my absolute all-time favorite. But at the beginning, basically, the story in about 2 seconds, it alludes to the character of this person with just a simple act that encapsulates so much. Like basically, like a book's worth for me, of character and personality and everything else and understanding. And this line for me. It just like, cause I can resonate with that. Like when look at your own hands, you just think of all the work you've done and all you're trying to do. Like to say these hands is like, okay, hands, but when you say hard working, there's a fucking novel of story behind why they're hard working hands. You know what I mean? So really like that line. Don't know if you've anything more to add to that.
Not really,
Not really, yeah.
Really.
We kind of...
no, I could go on about the job and everything else I'm doing, but sure, look, I left that last week, didn't I?
Yeah. But you're still hard.
I'm hard at work.
When you're grafting at the Smithfield and everything else, and because I love, like, so the fact that you're saying like, oh yeah, like this is my story, and you're trying to get your story out there. This is what you have to realize. Is what I've realized is that. No matter what we're doing, we're instilling a story of some kind in somebody else who sees our story, and it's very important that like if we get our story out there, other people see your story. You've no idea who could be inspired or instilled just by a positive story, because there's so much badness in the world, and just knowing like someone down the road or someone that you know is like having a like good time with what they're doing or whatever, or is finding themselves a positive story, like is a of a in someone in your local vicinity is like, it's great to have when you have all the war stories and all the terrible stuff in the world.
yeah,
It gives people a beacon of light. So what I've realised, this was another, I have loads of epiphanies, right, every now and again, but and it's something that I like, it might sound weird, but like a part of what I want to do is I want to give something for a story to believe in a way, you know what I mean? Like that's what we're leaving behind in a way. Your life is like, if it's going to be a novel or a book or a story, like hopefully it's going to be one that instills a sense of awe and inspiration, you know what I mean? And it doesn't mean you have to climb Everest or whatever, but just means that you fucking tried to, whatever that means.
But that's what it's all about, is human connection as well. So if you tell one story about yourself, you never know who else has gone through the same, who else knows who else is going through the same, and it does. I think it helps collectively heal people in a way, like, do you know what I mean? Sharing instead of hiding inside yourself.
Yes.
You're also releasing something outside yourself, and you're also connecting with other people who connect to other people, do you know? That's what it's all about, isn't it? It's all about love, like.
Yes.
You know?
All you need is love. But her psychedelics are kicking in now. No, but what you're saying, the release is so beautiful because yeah, and I think this is where we've suffered as a society in the past, where we've just bottled things up and put up with things. Sometimes we've had to put up with things, but then the mentality of just bottle, eventually the bottle is going to burst or break or whatever analogy you want to use. And then the release valve, it's like a collective, like there's like your experience, right, as a person, then there's my experience, right, and then in a group setting there's a collective sort of organism, right? So a release from you within the collective is also a release in the higher level organism, right? So, like the way I see reality now, it's only clicking with me now. Another epiphany going over, but reality mirrors itself at different levels of analysis. So, at a societal level, so it starts with the individual. If we are able to transcend suffering or express, or something changes with us, even if we either bottle or we don't bottle, that we're playing a part in how the collective also does the same thing. Does it bottle stuff up or does it not? And then, so everything we do is
like a sort of ripple effect.
Yeah, exactly. It ripples up through the different sort of layers of our own existence as humans, as little ants on this fucking planet in a way. So, you know, like that's what you have to be conscious of. You might think, well, what's the fucking point? What's the point of doing anything? I'm just a little human or whatever. Every fucking interaction that you have with somebody is so important. Like people can remember little conversations at a bus stop with somebody, like or make an effort. Like because the open mic stuff now, I've actually gotten better at pushing myself into like there was someone when I was in the supermarket getting milk, she was singing it with her baby, like, and I was just like, oh, party over here, like, you know what I mean? And then she was like, oh yeah, blah blah blah, and just acknowledging, not being like, oh, just getting my milk, or, you know what I mean? Just stepping into stuff. Seeing people collecting money on the streets yesterday. And I was like, where? I was looking for Santa hats because I have this Christmas podcast planned, and I was like, where'd you get your Santa hats? And then I was just talking to them, and they were like, oh, you're gonna busk? And I was like, come on, let's sing a carol. And we started singing fucking whatever. And I was just like, yeah, just going around, like, yay. And then actually, sorry, just to hijack this a little bit, because I had a very sad experience yesterday. There was a woman, and I was walking through the streets, and because I'm busking, I always have loads of change, and I always give change out. I just say fuck it, like just too many fucking things to get into, but giving is very important, and I won't get into that now. But this woman, she was just like, you know, asking for stuff, and she was like, oh, she had a shopping list, and she was like, would you be able to just buy me food for my kids?
Oh God!
And I was looking at her, and like, it was like, she was clearly just like it's hard to, like, an average Joe, just a woman, like, who's like just out there in the world. Like, I didn't think she was homeless. I didn't think she was just struggling, and she was just like really in trouble. And then I was like, I gave her like €2. So I just thought, it's just a normal begging situation or whatever. And I'd be like, yeah, I'll give you €2. But then she was like, oh no, can you just buy me the food? Like, I don't need the money. Like, and then I was like, then I realized, oh shit, the gravity of it. So I just reached in. I had all my change. I was like, fuck it, I had like 15 quid or so, I don't know what it was. And then she was like, I was like, oh no, it's fine. Like, just take the money. Like, it's grand. And she started crying, and I was just walking away then, and I started kind of tearing up a bit, and then I was like, I need to give her more.
Coming out.
I know. I wanted to go back. I was like, and then it broke my heart because I was poor for, like, let's say, most of my life. Now I'm in a place where I have a bit of money. Like, I'm not fucking rich, like, you know what I mean? But I don't worry about money anymore in the same way where like, money causes such arguments and pain, and it's terrible when you're coming up and money becomes like, it causes so much stress, and I know what that's like. And I was just like, I was so upset. I was like, oh, what's all this fucking money for? Like, for me, like, I'm so lucky. Like, I'm so fucking lucky right now. But I always know in my head, this is a big motivator for me, is that, like, whatever success I have, like, I'm gonna help, and this is like my own personal affirmation, and it's the simplest way to describe it. It's like, I'm gonna help as many people achieve less suffering in their lives, and whatever suffering can be anything.
Yeah, from A to Z.
But that's a beautiful thing that I found, that if I have that as my anchor point, even with all these pursuits, like, if I ever get successful in any of them, it's like, like, whatever I can do, even if it's just information, I'm gonna be like, I'm gonna help these fuckers as much as I can before I fucking kick the bucket.
That's what it's all about, though. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
You get selfish, you throw everything out the window. You don't really.
Exactly.
You kind of close your own heart off to people, then. Do you know what I mean? Like, so.
Yes, and it's only something I've learned. I was more selfish in my past, but as you develop, you just learn about other things. But just going back to this poem for a quick second. Playing out our song like a conversation. What does this allude to? Like, as in, what is the song in a way?
A song, again, it's the whole Albatross, Fleetwood Mac kind of alluding to that.
Yes.
But at the same time, it's like, that's where I find my peace when I'm meditating. As well as, like, I wrote that poem mainly around the fact that there's a sort of realisation that always kind of sits inside you until you actually think of it, if you get me, like, do you know what I mean? It's like, people always say, you have to keep the memories alive, this, that and the other, and of course that's important. Memories are the past, and they're close to us when it comes to people who have passed away, but it's the connection's still there. And you only lose that connection if you're not putting that connection, still putting effort into that connection. Do you know what I mean? So that's my way of connecting with my friend Joe, who passed away. It's kind of going to that place. And look, there's a lot of people don't really believe in it's called delusional, but I feel a spirit around me sometimes. Do you know that way? Like when I'm in much need, or even if I just think about them. Do you know what I mean? And I like to work on that connection, because God forbid anything happened to anyone that was close in my life, I'd still want to keep that connection alive. Because like, I was thinking about that, like, passing on.
Yeah.
It's passing on.
Yes.
It doesn't mean you're gone. It doesn't mean you're here, but it doesn't mean that you're totally gone from all space and time. There's all sorts of gobbledygook going on out there.
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
and to say that we know what's going on, and this is what the fundamental realisation is that nobody really knows what the fuck is going on. The more I look at reality, the stranger it becomes. The more you actually realise what is going on. What is actually going on, right? As in, what the fuck is going on? I'm having this experience, right? And like, I'm in this like fucking robot vessel. I can move my hands, I can think of stuff, I can imagine stuff. What the fuck
what is it?
What's
it all about?
What is it?
You know, but look,
it makes so just prefix it. We're not going to solve that problem, right? But what I'm trying to say is, don't be cynical, don't be because we don't know what's going on. And for you, whatever that means to you, that sort of with that connection, like let's say on the spiritual side, there's a possibility, and then on a practical materialistic side, you know, that connection does actually exist somewhere, and it's within you, and it will exist until you like pass on. And we exist in multiple forms in multiple people. So you're the version of Vagabond Queen that you are to you, right? Then there's the version that I have in my head. Then there's the version that everyone else gets. Even someone passing you by builds up a quick little version, and you just like so there's like an infinite number of Vagabond Queens out there.
Yeah.
And then there's the version. So there's the version that you, and then there's the version. How do I kind of describe this? The version that you think that I see. So there's two, like, so you know what I mean? There's the version that we're putting out into the world, that's like, because let's say there's layers to it, who we are. Like, I try to be as honest and forthright in like what comes into my head, as the best of my ability. There's stuff that that I'm not willing to talk about yet, that I still find a bit embarrassing. But I know that it'll come eventually. Once a few years pass, I'll be able like, oh yeah, it's not crazy. Like, but you know what I mean? There is stuff that I hold back that I only know, that I'm literally the only person in the whole fucking world that knows some stuff, right? And but that's okay, I think. You know what I mean? And so the fact that is true means that there's a version of that I know about. I know the real me, like versus you know as much as me as you can, as we can never know anybody fully.
Inside out, of course.
Because you can only know yourself as fully, and that's why we have to like you were saying before, believe in yourself, look after yourself in a way, because you're the only one that can believe and look after yourself to the fullest. Like no one else, like no one in the outside world can have your back the way you can have your back. You know what I mean? Even though Basil tries, like
they give you all the money in as well.
Yeah.
You buy you your shopping.
But no, I love that, and it just happens that I have changed. So like anyone asks me, but there's a cynical side.
But realistically, what are you going to spend that change on?
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean? Why not give it away?
I'm just because I don't bus for the money. The money's grand when I had to pay for parking and stuff, but it's practice. I'm just always thinking, I need to perform. I need to be singing every day.
It'd be different if you're going out and busking.
Oh yeah,
to make ends meet.
100%.
So you're going out to put yourself out there and practice and do what
first
you love.
And foremost.
Do you know what I mean?
I think that if people, it's not like I'm above that either. You know what I mean? Because like it's great to be, if you were busking to earn from your to what you love in a way, like that would be. But that's what I'm shooting for with all this creative stuff. You know what I mean? I don't know how it's going to be financially viable, but maybe one day it will be. You know what I mean? Yeah. Where I don't have to do other stuff, even though I love the other stuff anyway. But anyway, look, we'll just go back to this, right? Forget about I've too many rants, right? And we still have a bit to get into. And I love that as well. It keeps all our secrets, because there's like the secret can be like an actual like don't tell anybody this secret, but there's sort of like an essence of when people know each other. Like let's say our relationship with each other now, that's like a thing. That's like a thing that only we have and we can only be a part of. And the relationship that you have with everybody else, that's its own thing. And in a way, like the Albatross flies, it keeps all our secrets. Like it keeps whatever that, the essence of us, the collective us together in a way.
All I kind of saying when I was writing is,
like, don't tell anybody this.
Shut your mouth. So sitting on two different beaches with the ocean between us, so that's kind of like alluding to the fact is like we're in, say, different dimensions, different realms. Do you know what I mean? You've passed on here, I've passed on here, but we have something in between us. But the Albatross is playing.
I've such a cool psychedelic
like
video.
A song, John, that goes between us, that keeps all of our secrets. Like it's something that connects us. So that connection is still there. So the Albatross is the connection. Do you know what I mean?
So I imagine, right, this is like a psychedelic video, right? I know the acid is starting to kick in now, right? So you're over here, now your friend is over here, right? And the beach is stationary, right? And in between, there's that video of like but on the edges, like the beaches are stationary, but the Albatross is flying, and you're just stationary. I can just see this weird kind of anyway. That's
you got any money to make that video?
Yeah, like I'll come back
money
to you.
bags.
Eventually, shut up! I'm not fucking.
Give giving out donations.
BasilBreen.com / and then this is the other thing as well. I used to think that doing nice things, right, and not telling anybody was the best way to do it, right?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
But listen to this, right? If you don't tell anybody, then the likelihood of that happening more is less. So if you do nice things, right, you might feel like, oh, you shouldn't tell anybody because it makes me look like, oh, look at me, I'm giving, right? But if you don't tell people, like if I tell you that story, the next time you're in a situation, you might feel more compelled to give, right? So if you want more giving in the world, you should. Now, it's not like you have to make it like you're fucking putting up Instagram, may change your Instagram bio to like the best giver ever, like, and all your things are like, how much should I give, or all this stuff. But if it comes up naturally, don't be afraid to tell that you actually that, oh yeah, I give money to homeless people, because then people think, some people think totally different. Some people think let's say on one end of the extreme spectrum is that, sure, everybody on the streets is fucking scamming. They're all fake homeless.
Yeah, but
like,
that's what dehumanises things
I
as
know!
well, isn't it? Like, so you...
But who gives a fuck
someone
if
comes
they're
up asks
fake?
for €2 or something, someone comes up with a fucking shopping list and has a couple of kids.
Yes.
Oh no, here's €2, see you later. Do you
I
know what I
know.
mean? Like, it's...
But either way, right, and this is what a taxi driver... When I had a punctured tyre after one of the open mics, I had to get a taxi home, right? And I was complaining about this very problem, because sometimes when I'm busking, like someone homeless will come by, or someone just like, and they'll be like, oh, can I'll just be like, oh, yeah, take €1. And then like this on this particular occasion, and it happens all the time, but they'll take more. And I'm just like, oh, I was trying to be nice, I was trying to give you €1, like because it just hurt me that, like, and then he was just, I remember this lad, he was like, oh, I was like, oh, you took 3. I was like, I only took 1. I was like, he was doing it so slow, it was so obvious, and like that makes me super cynical, right? And I was telling this taxi driver, and he goes, and it was I'm so grateful for this taxi journey home, because it's changed my whole perspective on giving, because he was just like, you'll never be able to give enough. You'll never, unless you can give the whole world, you'll never be able to give enough. There's never enough that you can give. All you can do is be part of the giving in a way, and do it in a way. And then the more I thought about that, the more I've kind of internalized this new idea that I just want to be part of the giving. Like, let's say there's the giving, that all the giving that happens in the world, I'm just going to play a part in that giving, and I'm not going to get resentful when I feel it's, because what's happening there, right? Okay, I'm giving him money, he's taking more than whatever, and I'm like feeling like, oh, he should have respected what I was giving him initially. So then maybe there's a part of me that wanted him to think a certain way about me for giving him the money. So the deeper I went into it, the more I realized, like, am I selflessly giving in a way? And I don't think anything we do is totally selfless, because you know, even let's say if you do something nice and you feel good about it, well, then you feel good about giving nice things.
Yeah,
and I don't
exactly.
think that's
It's making you feel good about
but fuck
it,
it, like, who cares, right? If that makes you feel nice, it's better than a lot of other things that make you feel nice. So just being part of the giving, that's what I want to end that one on. I'm sorry, I fucking knew this was gonna happen.
Hand over, next.
Yeah, next. Now we'll get back to fucking. So what is your writing process look like?
Oh, I knew you were going to ask me this.
Of course!
I hate this question.
What?
I absolutely hate this. That's like,
You just
where
have
do you
to
see
tell me-
yourself in 5 years?
No, it's not.
It is.
What?
Oh, for
All I'm
me
asking
it
is how
is.
you write stuff down.
On a piece of paper.
On a piece of
On a
paper.
pen. No, I'm only messing. I don't know why you don't like that question.
Do you get asked
What
a
is-
lot?
Yeah, I do.
Interesting.
I do get that asked a lot.
Fuck, I need to rephrase this in a way. But it's interesting, because like I use Evernote, and it's a bit sporadic or whatever, and that's work. But I don't use paper or anything.
I'm a bit of a cunt for it, like, so I won't write something. I won't be like, right, Saturday, I have a free day, I'm going to sit down and I'm going to write, because if I sit down on a Saturday, make myself a cup of coffee, pen and paper there, I'm going to write muck because I planned it.
Yes.
So I'm a cunt like that. Like,
Okay.
I can't plan that and
Has to
creative.
come.
If it comes to me,
The
then
inspiration has to
do you know
come.
what I mean? Where's my pen and paper? Like, I'll be on the fucking bus.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, so, and then if I write it in my phone, I'll never look at it again.
Yeah.
Do you know? So I don't know, like something has to come to me. I have to be in a calm state. I kind of gather ideas as I'm going around and going about my business, and then eventually
something bubbles up.
I can feel something coming on, and I want to write, but when I sit down and write, I'm like, no, it's not time yet.
Yeah,
so not way, like, and then when it's time, it comes out and comes pouring out of me, like so.
But that's just your process. Like, there's not. I'm not
is that a process?
Well, whatever that
it's
means.
It's a bit of a mess to me. Like, do you know what I mean?
This is what I realise as well. We're creative fucking people. We're not supposed to be. I was listening to I listen to loads of podcasts. I was listening to some lad who has his like his whole day planned in blocks. Like my days now are just so sporadic. I wake up now. I try to write a bit in bed now because I find in that state of sleepiness, and I don't write in blocks. Let's say I write. With music, it's different, right? Because it's like, okay, I break it down into like verse, pre-chorus, chorus, and it's like a crossword puzzle because the rhyming as well. So I hum the melodies. Once I have the melodies, it's literally like a Sudoku or a game in a way. So it makes it it's way more accessible than a poem because I fill out the building blocks with melody, and you can only fit so many syllables in a particular melody.
Yeah.
So I reduce the infinite into the finite in a way. So that helps me actually write better. And then, but what you're saying there, but sometimes, like the way I remember I was in the sauna, you're getting all these fucking epiphanies today. But I had this realization because I like doing improv stuff as well, and that's where like
the human loop machine.
Yeah. I'm trying to embody that a bit more with my music creation. Like loop some chords, and I'm just in my room. And I'm getting into it now.
And do you move when you're writing songs?
I was last time, yeah.
That's
and
great.
like, it was fucking brilliant. And this is a new thing. But then once I
Does it help?
I found like I want to get into the spirit of it.
Yeah.
I'm really trying to like let go of all my inhibitions, right? And just be true to the feeling. And I've learned like I still care about what people think, you know what I mean? Like, even like whatever jumper I picked today, I picked this jumper over another jumper or whatever, you know what I mean? So it's not like I don't care about what people think, but there is a part of me that I'm my own, like, sort of, like, I'm the only person to me whose opinion I really, really care about. I do care about what other people think, like if I ask them for feedback, and I care about what they say, and some things hurt as well. But as long as I'm like, you go, Basil, like you're the fucking, you can do whatever. I can do whatever, and that's even the stuff I'm embarrassed about. Like, I'm not really embarrassed. I'd be embarrassed to tell people, but for me, I'm like, Basil, you can do whatever the fuck you want. Like, you're different. You don't have to play. You don't any box that exists. You don't have to be in any box in a way, but not subconsciously anyway. But your process then is more what I was getting back to as well is that I had this realization. I'm gonna pull music out of the universe, right? Because when we are creating work, it's not like if you sat down today and wrote something, or if you sat down tomorrow and wrote something, right? The time that you pick, you'll come up with different words. Everything is like very dependent on so many fucking variables, and it's like it's scary actually when you think about it. Like, see that poem you're very proud of, if you had sat down a different day to write that poem, it'd be so different. And it's like, isn't that a bit scary?
That's crazy, isn't
it freaks me out because like oh, imagine you didn't have this in a way.
But what you're saying, so I'd set it on circles Monday, the first time reading it out. Like, I've had a line in me for about 2 or 3 months in a candlelit city where the Glimmer Man dreams.
Yes, what's the Glimmer Man?
The Glimmer Man. Do you ever do history in school?
I did, yeah, but I'm honestly not as educated as you. Like.
Locals Ballymunna, you know?
Yeah, tell me what.
So the Glimmer Man is, I'll just touch on a little bit. So he was during the emergency when World War II was happening, and Ireland was in the state of emergency, so we had to keep the lights off. We were running low on the likes of gas, fuel, things like that. So Glimmer Man used to go around, and you know the lamps around Dublin?
Yes.
Light them, turn them off. And
the Glimmer Man.
But he was also a bollocks as well, because he used to go into people's houses and check like the likes of their stoves, things like that, to see if they were using the gas. So you can only use gas, don't quote me on it, but certain times a day or a certain amount. So people were caught, and people needed it, you know, heat baby bottles, stuff like that. So You go in, say, touch the hob, oh, you're fucked, you're always fine now. Do you know that way? Like, and
What?
there was fucking poverty back then.
The fucking
Big
Glimmer
time
Man.
poverty,
I thought he was
yeah.
bringing light.
So did I, like, do you know what I mean? And I was like, the Glimmer Man wasn't so bad, you know, but then, so just obviously
name.
during World War II and fucking Eamon De Valera and the lads, you know. But, I don't know why I came up with that. It's like I was trying to write something really kind of distorted and trippy about walking around Dublin City during the summer, but it's still there, but I haven't gotten it out of me yet.
Yeah.
It's still in the process, let's say. Me cuntish process.
Yeah.
Do you know? But,
Why are you judging it?
Because it annoys me. Like, I'll get over it one day and it'll be grand.
You're
It
judging your process.
It bothers me, do you know what I mean?
Does it bother you that you think it should be a particular way and it's not that way?
No, because I'd like to have new work. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
I like having fresh new things, but look, I accept it, but I don't fully accept it yet. Do you know what I mean? But
it's hard to accept, it's hard to realize sometimes that you aren't the type of person that you think is the ideal.
Yeah.
In a way, like even for me, when I was trying to do, like, I love regiment and routine, but I realised I'm not kind of that guy. I write things, big things that I want to get done in a day, and I get through them, and like that's the best. But I don't have like blocks of time. I'm crazy. I'm like wee.
Yeah, floating around.
So your process is whatever your process. But have you obviously experimented with other types?
Other types of
As
processes.
in you try to sit down and try to just pull stuff out of the world.
Yeah, but it's muck. Do you know what I mean? I like writing when it comes. I don't like just being like, I'm going to try this now. Because like I was saying, the line I had in A Candlelit City where the Glimmer Man dreams, anytime I tried to write around that and put that into a poem, it wasn't great. So it was not that it wasn't great. It was good. It wasn't it for me. Do you know what I mean?
But do you not think, like, the fact, like, it's like training. Like when I go busking, I'm practicing, and I'm trying to. The fact that, and even writing sometimes, even if it's not like I've loads of songs that I've never I thought were great, and then they're just in the graveyard now, whatever. But the art of doing the thing, like I was saying, exposing yourself to what you don't like, then it makes you realize more what you do like, and then there's fragments of what sometimes can come out. Even journaling, like even I used to do like 5-minute journals in the morning, and it helps kind of. And Ed Sheeran has a good line about this, about writing. When you start writing, it's like you're clearing out the pipes of shite, and then until the running water starts flowing. But you're probably anti all that stuff, I'd say. yeah. I'm just trying to give you a different perspective, but
no, look, you're dead right. It's just that's what I'm just stuck in at the moment until I come out of that. Do you know what I mean? I guess I'm just torturing myself with that process, you know?
Okay.
Because I haven't accepted it myself, but...
See, maybe another thing as well, and it's a great quote, a line I love, is writer's block is the fear of writing badly.
Yeah.
So if we didn't give a fuck about the quality, we'd just be like, blue, blue, blah, blue, 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 blue. Right, so you have to get out of your own way in a way, like for me. And then everything, also another thing to realise is that everything, for me anyway... I don't know about you, but I used to write a song, and then that was it. It never changes because that's what the song is, right? Now I change. Now I change. The songs are like a living document in a way, and the first bit is the first draft, and that they're open to improvement and a different. No, obviously the fundamentals. You can't just like change the chorus, but like if it's like a word or something, it's like oh I don't like that word, and then if a song's in progress, usually when I perform it, I'll know. Oh yeah, I don't like this bit. Isn't working. This bit I'm singing. Now this is something you'd get better at sort of understanding music and your own creative works over time. So it's not like I can really point to exactly things, but the more you do it in a way, if you have something there, then you can iterate on that. You can like even some of it because I was telling you I was going to try to do comedy. I had a look at the act that I had written like a few years ago, right? And over a few years I kind of iterated on it. It's only like 2 minutes, but I was like looking at it last night because I got this inspiration. I was like, fuck it, I'm just gonna do it maybe next week. So,
fucking do it.
Yeah, just because I gotta do it in the international bar, the Tigers one.
Tigers one, yeah.
Because I feel like it's a safer place. It's pretty. I want to see what anyway. But I was looking at it, I was like, I removed like part. I just like get rid of that. Join because I'm listening to more comedians now doing this, right? And so I'm like, oh yeah, that definitely will just be cringy on stage. Get rid of that, because I can see what works and doesn't work. But what I mean is that what do you think about first drafts? Do you iterate or is it like?
Yeah, like
okay.
I edit me work. Do you know what I mean?
okay.
Like, so I'll write down all my gobbledygook.
Blech.
Do you know, like I'll spew it on a page and then I'll go back to it then.
Yeah.
And then I'll edit again. Do you know?
So there's potential if you just sit down and write like what about. I don't know. I'm not trying to push you in any particular direction, but it's just good to like, because I'm the same with you. I find sometimes the best stuff I do is when I get inspired, and the best stuff I really do is when I'm inspired by a girl. Because I have this illusion that I'm going to send it to them one day, or like this is going to convince them of
Outside
something.
that window.
Yeah. There's something about that energy, and I whenever I get a crush of any kind, I try capture. I'm like, quick, capture, because it kind of fades. Once I write the song, I'm like, all right, yeah, like I'm not going to be that creepy guy outside the window.
Oh God, you get done for that these days.
But I'm like, how can I capture this energy even more? How could I write? How could I like be like, what if I made it like, oh, what if I sent her an album or something? You know what I mean? Then I get more songs. But then I get more songs. Not that I'm gonna be, but I know my boundaries. You know what I mean? I'm not like.
Well, it's a good motivator.
It's a good motivator.
Yeah.
You have to realize. You have to look at what's like. Whatever, like we're saying, right? The main thing is, it's like, okay, so it's not like I'd love to be motivated by fucking water. If I could be motivated to write beautiful music about water, that'd be great. Yeah. But I know what I'm motivated by, so I'm trying to I'll try to bring that more into my life. And I know that I enjoy crowds and attention, so I'm gonna go more into that world. It's not that like I'm super proud of all these things, but just because. Like you don't have to be like the ideal version of yourself. Just you have to accept parts of yourself and some parts of yourself that you don't like in a way.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just here with it.
Yeah.
And I'm torturing myself.
Yes.
But I'll accept it eventually.
But what would it look like if it wasn't torturing yourself? What do you mean by that?
By sitting down and going to write something, then
that's
or like planning. So like I say, I never had time to do anything the past couple of months.
Yes,
and I was torturing myself because the days I did plan to sit down to write, I fucked myself up.
And then
bollocks! I come out with a couple of good lines that like I said Monday, I written a poem and I said it out loud.
Yeah,
but I finally got around to using that glimmer man thing.
Yes,
do you know that way? Like so, all this torture and I don't have time and I'm gonna plan to do it and it's muck. It turned into something beautiful.
Yes.
Do you know?
I know. So that's the thing.
I'm torturing myself into something beautiful.
Okay.
Do you get me?
Well, look, if that's the process, you know.
That'll change one day, hopefully.
It all changes. No, but like, but maybe that's just the way it is, and like that's just because like there's a million ways to skin a cat. You know what I mean? Maybe the best way to write a poem systematically is to just ask a fucking laptop, how do you write a poem, and just fucking. Use AI to generate words, and like maybe that's technically the quickest way or whatever, but is that a way that's more fulfilling or gets the best out of you? Who knows? Like what's good for you is what's good for you. But the way I think about it, like now, it's like I need to. The more I write, right. So imagine if you read 10 poems, right. 2 of them poems are going to be better than like. There's going to be a best one. Out of them 10, right? But if you only have one, then it's a 1 of 1. So the more you write, the better chances you are of writing something that's really great to you in a way. So it's the 80-20 principle. So there's this kind of, it's like a fundamental law of reality, and that 80% of the value comes from 20% of the input. So let's say if you were in sales in a company, 20% of your clients would bring in 80% of the value, and 80% of your clients would be just bringing in 20%. So you if you look at loads of things fall into distribution of this, like let's say book sales, 20% of the writers get 80% of the profits. Like it's crazy. And even when it comes to the mass of stars in the universe, it's called the Pareto principle, right? But the 80-20 principle, once you understand that as a kind of a fundamental part of even the economy, it comes up everywhere, right? Then you think, okay, even for songwriting initially, I know I'm going off on one here, but
no,
this is
so
imagine
continue.
if I had 10, the best, what's the most fundamental part of a song, right? For me, it's the chorus, right? So if I wrote 10 chorus melodies, right, before I do any other writing,
Right.
instead of wasting my time with a song, 10 chorus melodies, then pick the best 2 melodies from that and start from there. And then that way I know that I'm already, and then I'll have like a better chance of finding the best version of whatever I'm trying to produce. So even if you have like what are 10 concepts for a poem that you had the Glimmer Man, but maybe if you had like whatever other ones were, you'd be like, oh, that shit. This one looks good. I'm gonna try work on this one, but I don't know. I'm just spitballing, you know.
I can't do that though.
Yeah,
I can't.
yeah.
I have to sit down and write about one concept because it comes from my heart. I write from my heart
Yeah,
and
yeah.
feeling like, do you know that
Yeah.
way. So
Yeah.
I can't do that. Like I can write things and then they'll end up just either sitting in a notebook for years
Yeah.
and then come back to life again, or else
Interesting.
they'll die in the notebook or die
Yeah.
in me notes to be found or something. Do you know that way? So
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know. Just that's why I'm like
Yeah, no,
cuntish
and I
about me
appreciate
fucking
that.
process, you
Yeah.
know?
It's just like when I hear the language around it, I'm just like, oh, I hope you're not like in too much pain about it. I'm trying
dear God, no.
I'm trying to hear.
No.
I'm trying to give
No.
you like. I'm trying to help. Like, you know what I mean? Whatever help means to you. But if this process is producing like things like this fucking great poem over here, it's like you just
Keep going.
you got to do it. Like,
but that'll change. You know what I
Yes.
mean? I'm okay with it. I'm okay with
Yeah.
torturing myself.
that's all right.
Clearly. My power for fuck's sake.
Yeah. So that's great. We got through all that. And then so that was a great meander. So what I wanted to touch on a little bit actually was the creative work itself that gets created, right? So I was thinking about this, right? I was thinking about you, and I was thinking about your performances. What I love, there's something in your voice, like your accent, that like gives it this sort of strength and power, and like it's like a literally like a spell. Like that's why I thought a sorcerer in a way. For me, that's what I see, right?
Yeah.
And then I was realizing, well, look, what is so? It's interesting how. And I wonder what you think about this. Like our personality, our voice, our sound, even our appearance. There's like a dance between everything that we are and the art that we produce, right? And it's not just what is in our mind, as in like what words we know or what we're capable of. Because when you're writing, perhaps there's a subconscious element of like your voice, your inner voice is like if you spoke like let's say Annie Peters, right? She with her accent, she's a bit like a Eckhart Tolle. Do you know him?
Yeah.
That's why I really gravitate because I listen to loads of him. But her accent, perhaps like I want to understand like, or I want to even. When I think about it, it's like how much does that shape the creative produced work? Like even me, for my songs that I'm writing, like my vocal range or whatever, like is shaping. Like I'm not singing like songs that are real low or like there's a part. I'm constrained by what I'm actually like. I'm constrained by my actual voice, and that shapes the creative work. And then even like when I reach for these kind of jumpers, let's say, or my style, and even my hair, for me, there's a particular image, and it's something that I've only, I was very embarrassed about taking my appearance serious in the past, because I don't think I had a good self-image of myself. Okay. Like I didn't think, I didn't think of myself as attractive or whatever in a way, right? So now I've come through this, you know what I mean? But if I look back, I didn't have a good opinion of my appearance, right? So I was afraid to take it serious, because if I played the game, then there's potential for getting hurt, I think, if I look at it. But something I think it changed when when I got glasses for the first time. It was the first time I had to decide on something stylish or like a style element that's going to change my appearance. And then I was like, what else? It kind of triggered something. So then I started wearing odd socks. I used to just wear black socks, pure black. And it was simple to pick out. Then I was just like, I'll buy colourful socks and I'll still just pick out random socks, right? Yeah. So, and I don't think about, sometimes I actually match odd socks, which is weird.
How do you match odd socks?
Because you can have a blue and you can have an orange, and they go together. It's hard, yeah. So they're not odd, really. But so what I'm trying to get at, without meandering too much, is then I started taking more interest in my style, and then I found my style in a way. And so even these I love these jumpers, because I used to wear like hoodies, but I don't resonate with hoodies as much anymore. For me, I like these for me portray more of who I want to portray myself as. I can't really put my finger on it, but what do you think about any of that? How much does your style or your voice do you think influence your creative work, or just the opposite? That's what I mean. It's like a dance. Right. Like the art can influence the personality and the style, I think, in a way. It's hard to explain. Like, let's say, like everything about me, just like, and then this is what I'm realizing now, is that the closer I can connect these two, the person that I am, and the creative work, the more in line they are, perhaps, the more true of an entity that I will be. What do you think? What's your sorry? Because you wear like a
the acid is kicking.
Yeah, you wear a grey hat, and then your own voice as well. It's very distinctive. Like how much do you think at a subconscious level? It doesn't have to be conscious. Like
I think the style is always something that I just wear anyway. Do you know that way? Like, and then my voice is my voice.
Yes.
Obviously, my voice when I'm performing has evolved over time, but only in confidence. So, everything that I am on and off from behind the mic or whatever, like, do you know what I mean? That's an extension of myself. Like, I'm still myself up there.
Yes.
Do you know? Like, if I'm angry and I'm giving out about something, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Fucking Kaycii doesn't pick up his fucking socks. Like, fuck you down, do you know what I mean?
Back to the socks.
It is, it's annoying.
Yeah.
But, do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
no.
Fucking, if I'm passionate about something, then I speak that way too, like, you know?
Yes.
The hat's just something that came with the performing.
That's what I mean.
Well, kind of, down the road, one of my best mates lives, so we'd spend a lot of weekends there on the session in the past, you know, that way, and he had this great little hat. It was a lot smaller than the hat I wear.
Yeah.
It's a little kind of blue hat. If you see in the video that we were talking about earlier, like the hat gets bigger.
Yeah.
But we used to sit down there and we'd have a few drinks over the weekend and get a bit silly, so that was weird. And then start doing the open mics. So I was about 2 or 3 open mics into it. I was saying, do you mind if I wear the hat? You can have it.
Do you mind if I wear the hat?
Do you mind if I wear the hat to this fucking thing I'm doing poetry at? Do you know what I mean? I think it goes with the whole thing.
Yeah, see, this is exactly what I'm saying.
And he's like, yeah, just take it. You know, you can have it. Like, so, sorry, Jimmy, you actually ended up losing the hat one night after an open mic, polluted, fucking piss drunk. And my notebook as well. So,
oh no.
Yeah, anyone found the fucking navy hat out there,
notebook,
you can keep it. Sorry, Jimmy. But yeah, so I went. Actually, the black hat that I wear now, I wanted a hat like that for a long time. Before said hat, before this hat. Jesus Christ!
How many hats has there been? There's a graveyard of hats until you find the one. So,
yeah, so I wanted a hat like that anyway for a while, like a fedora, before I started even doing poetry. So there used to be a hat shop in George's Arcade. Don't know if you remember it. It used to be at the very back by the jewellery shop. And there used to be a fella that ran it. So I went in one day and I was looking at it and was trying on these different hats. Is this
Grafton Street?
Yeah, close to Grafton Street.
I got a hat from there as well.
Did you get a hat?
Yeah, is it not
Your
there
man's
anymore?
Dead. No, he died, man. Yeah, he died last Christmas.
I went in asking for a hat that looked like that film I was talking about, There Will Be Blood.
Yeah.
Because I loved that film. I was like, I wanted to get cool. I have it in my car. But no way!
What kind of hat is it?
He was brilliant. It's like one of these. Oh, I'll show you. But it's like a. Because I was wearing the paddy hats, right, and then I was like, how do I take my hat game to the next level? Like, because when I'm busking and stuff, this is what I've learned as well. I love colours. As much it used to be bland and grey. Now I'm like a peacock. More colours, the better. Because like that's what I wanna. That's me, more me. Like, and then it's more like looser in a way. I seen this lad with fucking these Doc Martens, right? And they were like fucking bright red in the airport. And I just wrote down, I was like, I need to get
Bright
these-
red
need-
ducks.
I was like, he had great style. In my opinion, he had brilliant style. He just, his scarf went with his boots, and I was like, oh, this is a fucking legend.
You're looking at yourself.
But anyway, oh no way, he died. Fuck.
Yeah, so I went in, I was chatting to him. This was before I started working at Specsavers, and I was on the dole, and I was like, listen, how much is the hat? And he's like, 50 quid. And I was like, look, I don't have 50 quid. And we were chatting away beforehand. He was the only one working in there. He couldn't get staff, and he couldn't afford staff. He could never get time to himself. So I was like, listen, here's my phone number. If you want, I can do 2 shifts for you, and you can just pay me the hat. Do you know? And he's like, oh, but how can I trust you? And I was like, look, I'll leave that up to you. Do you know what I mean? I'm not going to rob you. All I want is the hat, do you know? So, and I was mad in it. So 2 weeks went by, and I actually got a phone call off, and I was like, I'm after starting fucking a job, full-time job, so I wouldn't be able to come down, you know? But listen, when I get paid in a month, so I'll come down and buy that hat off you if you keep it for me. He's like, oh, I can't guarantee you can keep it, but it'll be there anyway.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Hopefully. So within the month I went down, and I actually just lost poor old Jimmy's hat.
R.I.P.
So I went down to go buy that hat, and there was 2 young ones there, so fucking bought the hat, and he's like, oh, he must have got new staff. I'm happy for him, whatever. The same hat was there, and someone I was hanging around with at the time, I was up having a few drinks with them, and they were like, oh yeah, he's dead. Is he? So where'd you get the hat? I was talking about the hat. He's fucking dead. So he showed me on Instagram then. I don't know how he died, but bless him, he
Literally
wasn't
within
that
that
old. Like, he
space
was
of
lovely,
time.
yeah, it was crazy, like, you know. So,
Oh,
you know, shout out
well, you got your hat, like.
the hat guy, you know.
Do you still have that hat?
Yeah, still have that
All
hat.
right, make sure that doesn't
I've
get
lost
lost.
that hat
Fuck
so many
Jimmy's
times,
hat.
it still comes
Jimmy's
back to
hat
me,
was
you
a
know?
load of shy anyway. No, that's it. No, that's it. No. Oh, that's
No,
hilarious.
it's too small.
But see, this is what I'm alluding to in a way. There's like there is this dance then between like the creative work and our personality in a way, and it's not that one. It's a two-way relationship. You know what I mean? Like one influences the other, and then eventually, this is what I've realized during this podcast, is that maybe there's a merge and a convergence on, and I suppose it makes so much sense because the person that we present ourselves to be in the world, and the more that is in line with who we actually are, and our creative work isn't a reflection, I think, of who we actually are. The more true we can be to the written word or whatever that work is, the more of us that's in it. And another beautiful thing about like you can only write that poem in a way because you wrote it, and like for you to do anything, you have to simulate the whole fucking universe, and you have to come out of existence and then have done every exact fucking thing to write that poem and written and come through everything that you've come through. So everything that we do, and this is a beautiful realization, is like super original. Unless we're blatantly, the more true, we have to be true to ourselves. Now, obviously we are influenced at the beginning when we start writing and stuff. But the more we write, the more we find ourselves in our own niche in a way that we only know because no one else has ever gone there before. But anyway, we fucking ventured down a
Very
few.
deep here,
Yeah. This is the Basil Breen Boombox. What did you fucking think? We go hats and then we go deep. I go too deep, like.
What did you put in that coffee?
This is what I'm saying. I warned you like before the podcast. So this brings us into so you've done busking and then the singing. Yeah, I'd love to get back into the singing. Do you have any idea of or any inclining? That's a new word. Inclining, isn't it? To sing or a song of any kind.
I love singing. I'd love to get back into singing again, but I think I just want to focus on my poetry for now.
Yeah.
So you used to get up. Do you know Andy Borton?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's fucking
He used to get me
bluesy.
up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just have
He's a
little sing
legend.
song with
You did
him,
it at the
like,
Flow
so.
show. And
Yeah, he's great. And little dancing and all.
Fucking brilliant.
His little braid,
Yeah.
like he's a fucking great
He's
person.
brilliant.
Like, but used to jump up with him and Andy Kelly when Smithfield was back in the Barber's Bar. So I haven't really sang in a very long time other than in the shower.
Yeah,
but like
yeah.
I started getting self-conscious about it again. Like I wouldn't even sing in front of Kaycii at home.
Yeah,
or anything like that,
yeah.
like, so.
It's so weird,
But,
isn't it?
no, I love it. Like I'd love to get back and do a bit of blues at some stage, but not now. Do you know
But
what I
in a
mean?
way, and obviously I say this a lot to people, but we're always singing. Like when we're speaking, we're singing. Like you could play the notes of my words on a piano, and when you're doing a poem, it depends on what you categorize as singing. Like we're like when people say they can't sing, it's like, well, singing, the words that we use and see the way I'm going up and down and blah 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 to convey certain energy with certain words. Not that I'm conscious of it or anything, but like there's something there that like the melody of words and sentences actually improves it. Because if I was just talking like this and it was just blah blah blah,
It's like, turn it off.
it's just exactly, turn it off. So this, oh man, this is why I like. It's like I'm just learning so much about life from doing this podcast, because I didn't even think about these things. Jesus Christ. But so yeah, I just thought that was because I seen it. I just seen a video of you singing, and I was like, no way, I can't believe she sang as well.
I used to be, like I say, I used to be in a band ages ago. Nothing ever happened, you know what I mean? So never took off, never did gigs or anything like that. But I used to love it, like some bluesy kind of bit of metal-ish kind of prog rock, which I'm not mad into. But do you know what I mean? It was good. Like I said, it's good for releasing them knots in your soul as well. You know?
That's what you just letting it out, like
belt it out. Like, you know, this is better than screaming or something.
I know. I'd actually, like, that's my dream. My end goal is to, because I like the guitar. Me and the guitar, like, it's just a vehicle for me to be able to perform in a way. But I love just singing, and I love performing and moving more than I love playing the guitar. You know what I mean? So I'd love, like, eventually I think, if I can get a band would be just fucking brilliant. Like, I think Spunk, CN Spunk had a good name when I was talking about this with him. He was like Basil and the Razel Dazels.
Oh, that's brilliant.
I don't know if they want to be called the Razel Dazels, but but then there's like that problem with creative struggle, as in you have to let people into now there's some
when everyone wants to take a different direction.
Everyone wants to take a different direction, and it's like I want to do it my way. Not that I'd be like that. I won't be like a dictator, but like I'd love to have final say. Like I listen to feedback all the time. The name of this podcast came from my good friend Dean Monks. As soon as I hear something that I think is good, I'm like, oh, thank you so much for that. Oh yeah, give me that stuff. Like now I don't have to make any mistakes. So I'm totally open to people, and I don't care.
Feedback and
Ideas. There's no idea that's original, because like if we were just thrown into the world now, we wouldn't have thought of any computers or nothing, or you wouldn't even thought of poetry, words. We wouldn't have anything. So when you think something, there's no sort of thing as original thought when you get down to it, because we're all just on the shoulders of
everything's
giants.
a branch of the same tree. You know?
Yes. So any idea out there in the world, like that not that you don't really rob. Like there is now, there becomes a problem if you're robbing people's work that they've chipped away at the universe and tried to get. Like they were mining, and then you just go, give me that. You know what I mean? But if like the point that I'm trying to say is that I'm totally open to feedback and stuff, but I would like final say. Like I think someone needs to have final say in a group setting, because it could be like, oh, I want it red, and you're like, I want it blue. And like, what if
then it doesn't go anywhere.
It doesn't go anywhere.
The bus never stops. Do you know what I mean?
In work, I used to work in startups, and you need someone with final say. I think that's how, because especially with design, I feel so bad for designers, like graphic designers, because like let's say if you're a programmer, right? Like not everyone, only certain people in the company will have an opinion about that, but with a picture or an image, everybody in the whole fucking company has a say, basically, because everyone could say, I like blue and I like red and I like green. And the poor designers, after like thinking about all the little intricacies of, you know, all the like the family of colors to use, the font types and all, and then someone just goes, can we make the font bigger there? It's like, oh well, it doesn't scale with all the like they can just say stuff, because everyone can have an opinion about a piece of art or something visual, you know what I mean? And then nothing gets done, and then it's so stupid, because like imagine I was like, oh, I need microphone, I need all this stuff before I can do a podcast, and I would have never started. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
yeah.
And
you're just kind of putting it on the long finger for too long. Then,
and we actually were going to start a podcast. Me, my friend Dean Monks, and Sean, who they're going to be on the Christmas special, my brother, and another guy, Paddy O'Leary, who's I don't know where he is now, but he's one of the best people, interesting fucking lads you'll ever meet. Like he's just the most. He's doing philosophy in Trinity. He's always traveling. He's always just going. He's deep into like he he explained to me one time, he was reading this philosopher, it could have been Hegel, it could have been Nietzsche, I don't know who it was, but he cleared out the whole room and put a chair in the middle of the room, him and the book. That's how serious and then like he
Wow.
like so everything
No
he
distractions.
dedicated, but imagine you took anything that serious. Like writing. Imagine you just cleared like the room was that's its purpose was for me to sit here and read. It felt and I was like, what was it like? He's like, it was fucking so powerful.
I'd
The
love to
words
try
hit.
that,
I
yeah.
know it sounds so powerful. But so we were gonna start a podcast, but we couldn't sign a fucking name.
Right.
We couldn't sign a name. We had we had recorded like 4 episodes, and it was like I had my favorite name was Harping On, which I like still. And then. But it was like, no, you couldn't get 4 people to decide on fucking anything.
Yeah, that's the worst thing. Like, it's
yeah.
great when you can, but then it doesn't really go anywhere when
Yeah.
you can't. Because when I was in the old band, like there's nothing wrong with it or anything, but I wanted to venture out and play gigs and do recordings and stuff. But the other lads were like, oh no, we need to keep practicing. It's like, lads, we've been practicing the same songs for 4 fucking years.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like when are we gonna do something with this? Do you know, we can't keep this in the basement. In a fucking house of balls.
Just a little bit more.
Do you know? I was like, oh, come on, like, you know? I was like, no, but this part just isn't right. And it's like, fuck it, just fucking we'll get it right.
It'll never be right.
Come on,
It's
like,
never gonna be right.
I just never went anywhere. So I don't know,
That's what
difficult,
kills
like.
loads of stuff.
Unfortunately, because there's so much potential there.
I know. And like especially with like when I look back at videos, there's a video that I have of me recording a song like 3 years ago, right? And I'm like, I can't even understand what he's saying, like, and he's singing too high and he's fucking it's like all over the place. And I'm like, it's like, but I was putting myself out there. I was busking on the streets when I remember I had this video, right? Because I had this 360 camera. There's actually loads of footage of me busking throughout the years, right? So it's a good like little memory bank. But I used to have this 360 camera on the top of my guitar, and I recorded like my whole busking sessions, and then I cut clips out because I was trying to build like content or whatever. That was one thing I tried.
Right.
And so there's fucking loads of videos and but. I remember one time, right? I was busking in Grafton Street and I was singing the song, and you know Ali Sherlock, she was waiting to busk, right? She has like millions of followers on YouTube. She's like literally a world class singer. Like she was on Ellen DeGeneres when she was like 12. She's like her voice is so good, right? But in the video footage, right? So she's waiting to get on, and I'm singing, right? I can just see her wincing, like, right? Every now and again, she looks up, and she's only this little fucking. She was 16 or something. She's like, look at this fucking, and I can just see it. And I remember I was like, oh, that hurts me so bad. Like, oh no, I'm so embarrassed. Like, and then I changed. That was like why it was that bad, right? And then I analysed it and stuff. So like, you learn from doing it. And then like sometimes you always probably think you're better than what you are, right? Yeah. Because in 2 years' time you'll be like,
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, you know what I mean? But you have to believe. You have to just throw yourself out there.
You have to believe in yourself.
Exactly.
How long have you been doing busking and music and everything you're doing?
I picked up the guitar when I was 24, I think. Yeah, it was after my first real heartbreak. Like the first one destroyed me, like mentally. I think because I don't want to get too into that, but that basically I was listening to sad music, playing, trying to play like Lana Del Rey. I love her.
All the minor chords.
This is what, all the minor, and this is what like good, like real sad music does. It when you can speak about like, I understood heartbreak for the first time when I had my heart broken. I was like, oh, now I get what it, like, this song is beautiful now. Like, you have these kind of lyrics, like, I'm trying to think, there's someone in the open mic scene that reminds me of this. Like, they're able to talk about heartbreak in such powerful terms. But Lana Del Rey has this great line. She's like, I will love you till the end of time. I would wait 1,000,000 years. Like, promise to remember that you're mine. Like, isn't that like the gravity of heartbreak? I would love you I would wait 1,000,000 years. Like, that is like the most heartbreaking shit ever, right? Because like that's how much pain she's in. She's willing to wait 1,000,000 years.
Yeah.
That album Born to Die is one of the best albums. Like, she's fucking amazing. And what I was getting into there, so You see, I meander, you know what I mean? Like, you asked me a fucking simple question. I'd say, like, but then I was on and off with the guitar. I moved to London, I was on and off with it. I'd say I've been taking it more serious since I got back from, I'd say the last 3 years. When I started properly busking and, like, learning the guitar kind of sat there. I was always tipping away at writing and stuff. But I'd say in the last 3 years, I've been consistently... and then the last year has been the most like consistent ever. You know what I mean? So it's been like at least a 7-year journey to this point now.
And you haven't stopped since when did you say you started again this year? May, was it?
Since May. So since May this year, like so last summer, I was doing a lot of busking and scaries. There's loads of footage. I was so scared to busk and scaries because
your hometown.
Because my hometown. I'm coming out to my people now, and once I did that, like. I had no fear then, you know what I mean? But I still had fears of the open mics. And now I've done a few of them. I'm not saying that I'm complete, because there's levels, right? So imagine now I'm doing a gig where people are coming just to see me. That'll be the next thing I need to overcome in a way. So there's layers and layers and layers. And the more you kind of delve into it. But yeah, so Scary's busking, that helped me my testicles grow like an extra few sizes in a way, you know what I mean?
But it's mad when you look at someone and you see how honest they are about like the next thing. I'd be nervous about doing my own gig. Like, John's, I'm like that as well. I haven't done like my own gig with my name. Do you know what I mean? On the poster I say.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you know, I feel like I'm not there yet myself. But it's mad for me to sit here and hear you saying that, because when I see you up there, it's just feel the whole room. You swear you've been fucking Basil Big Balls your whole fucking life, do you know? Like,
that's the thing.
It's crazy though, isn't
I
it?
know, it's
you
crazy.
You don't know what's going on under the layers of the onions.
You don't know how much how much hours I've actually put into busking. That's what's probably the best thing I've done. Like, let's say with the open mics, right? There's a real you wait loads of time. You do your little 1 minute, like 5 minute set, not 1 minute set, but you only have a certain amount of time. Busking allows you to take that and put it into your own time. Like I've busked like fucking I've done like 3 hours of busking just in a concert run. That's why I loved it, and I'd just be fucking making up shit and that's the big thing is when I realized that I didn't just have to sing. Like when people gave me money, that's when I'm like, thank you, little girl, gonna give you all the world, I'm gonna twirl, and I'll just try and make up something, you know what I mean? And sometimes it's not great, but like sometimes it hits, and but that's
people
where
enjoy it as well, and you're making people smile.
And that's where I'm trying to be more. Yeah, exactly. People, and especially kids, like that's what I love. Like, especially busking and scaries. There's some videos I could show you. Like they're on my Instagram feed, but. I won't get too into it, but basically, I love kids, giving them a little bit of a nod. They love that, and the parents love it, and they're like, "Hey, ooh!" And I'm like, one I use now, it's like, "Oh no, they're trying to rob me! Help!" And I go, "Oh wait, they're just giving me money," and like, it's brilliant. You know what I mean? And like, and the kids are like, "Oh," and then when they do something right, I know I'm going off one here, but. When I see a kid and they're a bit, I can tell by what's going on. The parents trying to coax them into giving the money in, right? And then, like, I'll see that. And then when they do it, like, I'm so proud. I'm like, yeah, like because they overcome. I've seen little kids, like some little kid, I remember through Henry Street, he had to, the parent like had them walk and like they had to kind of dodge a bit. And they were a bit scared before it, right? And then he put the money in. I was like, I've just witnessed like a little kid overcoming,
stepping a little bit out of their shyness. Yeah,
and I was like, yay, well done. I was like so proud of them. Like, and that's what busking does. Like my particular brand of human, as I've said before, what I've realized is that that's my my gift to the world. If I can, like, I'm not grandiose or anything, but like if my purpose can be to try and bring joy. I used to really be about affirmations and fucking like self-talk, and like I'd have like 5 minutes a day where I do these affirmations, 5 minutes of visualizations. Right now I've always kept this stuff, but when I was first rewiring my brain, and I was trying to figure out what do I want to do in the world, the one thing I had was like, I bring joy to others. I bring joy to others. I bring joy to others, and because that's something that it's not that I felt I was doing it at the time, but like I was like, that'd be something to shoot for. If I could bring joy, like joy, like it's one of the most beautiful things, and like now, that's what I'm like. That's why I get pulled into more. Like when we're having a conversation, I want us to be in a joyful state. You know what I mean? Not consciously, but now that I've kind of built that programming into my brain, I'm looking for the joy, and like and when people are singing on stage and stuff, like I want us all to be enjoying it. Like I want us to like.
But that's what you
let's
need,
enjoy
especially
it
in the
because
world we live in today. Like,
yes,
you know what I mean? Everyone's fighting and bickering and
we're all
divided
gonna
and
die.
conquered, and it's
Like,
fucking
that's what people don't understand. That's why the
Have a
biggest
fucking
thing
laugh,
is to have a fucking laugh, because we literally are gonna die, right? And like whatever happens. But your story, my story, will come to an end. And you'll just be like, why didn't I just fucking like let a bit looser? Why was I so
serious?
Yeah.
Angry.
And it's hard to overcome these barriers, but you can live in a place where you are not as confined by what other people will think. And if I can show people that, if I can be crazy, right, then it gives people a excuse to be not as crazy as me, but they can move towards that. They can be a little bit looser, because like, not everyone in the room is just silent sitting there. And they can move their head a little bit more, because I'm like, yeah. But I'm not doing that because of that reason. I'm just like, yeah! Like, this is fucking brilliant! Why are we all fucking loving it? But anyway, I want to get one more thing.
Can I use the jacks again?
Oh yeah, please, fucking
Get
hell.
more drugs.
How many times? All right, we're gonna get one more fucking a few more little rants. And we're going to finish this one up. Like. And we're back. Sorry, the drug party never stops here on the Basil Breen Boombox. I'm going to start trying to wrap this up now, but it's been fucking it's been brilliant having you on.
Basil Breen, drug box.
Yeah, drug box. That's another, I have a special one of them in my room. No, but one thing that I loved seeing was when even at the first open mic I went to with Minty, I remember you were on stage, and I could hear this fucking lad just going, "Go on, you fine thing," right? And then I was like, "What? Who the fuck? What's going on here?" Right? And then when Kaycii, who I ended up being, he was up on stage. You were like, "Yeah, fucking fine, Yoki," right? And so you had this great back and forth, and I was like, that's fucking hilarious, right? And then obviously, just kind of getting to know us more, like, and just realizing, like, obviously you were together then, and then just getting to know us a bit more. I remember Kaycii. I'm gonna have him on the podcast. I'll talk about this a bit more then, but
Did you be 4 hours with him?
Oh yeah, well that'd be unreal. That's what I want. I want to get hit. Yeah, but you know, I love ranting, but hopefully if he likes ranting more than me, I'll be like,
yeah,
take the chair. But he, I remember I was very intimidated by him initially.
Why?
Because he just seemed like he was fucking.
He gets that a lot.
Yeah, because he's such a sweetheart, and he's so humble.
Yeah.
Like I cannot believe. And then I remember when cause after the first open mic, right? I wasn't gonna bring this up with him, but I remember, right, in Minty's one, right, I said something. I actually remember this. I was like, Minty. He was like, I love doing this every Tuesday, and I was like, "Yous are the best crowd," and I was like, "Oh, you say that every week." That was my first time there, right? So that was the joke. But then it took a real serious. It looked like I was being a cunt, right? Minty was like, "I don't say that every week. Like, what do you say?" And he took it real offensive.
Right.
And I remember Kaycii going, right? Now I don't mind that he said this, but he was like, "Don't come back, you cunt." But like, I was terrible, right? And I thought, oh no. I've ruined this relationship forever, right? And especially because hearing him rap and stuff, I was like, oh yeah, I'm just like a fucking little pop fucking whatever. I don't know, but this is my first time. Give me a break, right? So anyway, I remember then another Minty's, because this is the problem, right? I know having a loud mouth sometimes it's risky. Because I just say things, right? Sometimes it lands, sometimes it doesn't. So
yeah.
So it's like I'm willing to play that game in a way, right? And I take the responsibility for that as well. And I did feel, I was like, oh fuck, I'm about to ruin that. But then I remember one time I said something, right, that he liked, Actually, it's so funny, right? I'm real good memories at like little social situations like these, like fundamental changes in like understanding of people and everything. I think it's like a superpower. But I even remember, like I think it was because I'd asked somebody, they didn't shout out their Instagram handle, and I was like, "Oh, what's your Instagram handle?" And Kaycii just turned around to me and he smiled and he knuckled me, and I was like, I'm in. Like, he doesn't hate me. Like, and he's actually cool. He's actually like a nice person. And then we obviously had a few conversations. Then we shared some kind words, and it's just so interesting to have come to learn. Not just. I don't think I was judging a book by its cover. I think it was making early. I was like, oh, I'm fucked now because like. He's too cool.
He's gonna get me.
He's so cool, like, and you are so cool and fucking like technical with your words, and so like I was like, oh, please like my little songs. But anyway, so I'd like to get into that a little bit. Like, how did you come to me? If you don't mind me asking.
We actually met at Minty's.
No way.
Yeah, so my friend Lee, the comedian I was telling you about earlier on, we worked together on Specsavers, so he was trying to get me down for weeks because I always did Smithfield every Wednesday and whatever else, so I didn't even go to circles at that stage, like, so I was like, fuck it, I got down tonight, which is, I have the hat with me, whatever.
Yeah.
Like the books in the
Where's
bag, like, so I was like, let's go. Yeah, no, I didn't even talk to him the first night he was there. But it's gas because my friend Kat actually took a photo of me on stage. It's just a silhouette photo with me hat, and then you actually see him sitting there with his hat.
No way!
So I was saying to him there a while ago, and he was like, it's foreshadowing, do you know that way? Like, as if fucking life is all about foreshadowing. But, no, we got chatting the week after, because I love a rowdy crowd. You know that way? I love Minty's, I think it's gas.
Yeah, like, I love it, yeah.
There's no holding back, Joe. I can be myself on stage.
Yeah,
like,
that's why I like it.
Scream whatever I want, you know what I mean? But, so we got chatting. And then we ended up going to Fibbers. We had a few points or whatever, like, but the next day, my mate Lee was walking. He was like, oh, yeah, you and Kaycii, Lee. And I was like, no. So I knew I liked him, but I didn't say anything to myself because I'd been through, like, the absolute fucking wars with men. And I'd been through mental, physical abuse, the whole lot. And I'd had one night stands, and I felt emotionless, like numb and stuff. And then when my heart started opening up again, I just kind of lent it to the wrong people. So I was like, I had enough of this.
So I'm
done. Like, do you know what I mean?
Like protection. Yeah.
So I was like, look, I just wanted to be me, my dog, my heart, my mates, my family. That's all. I'm not doing this anymore. Not for a long time. And then so when you close that door, fucking whoever's up there is like, no.
I know. I'm going to show you why.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So I ended up meeting Kaycii then.
Yeah.
But a lot of my friends like, oh, you are the same. You're into the same stuff. You kind of touch on the same topics. Blah blah blah. You used to be great together. I was like, no. Look, it's just another friend. Like, I don't want that like that.
Yeah.
So a week later, we ended up actually getting to know each other a little bit better.
Yeah.
just to say the least.
Yeah.
But I haven't looked back, and I've never had any doubt about him. Like, he's one of the best people I've ever met in my life. Like, he's a sweetheart. He looks after people. He cares deeply about the people around him, the people who listen to his music, and even just the people he come across in day-to-day life and has a chat with.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? He's a demon and an angel, like, you know?
Exactly.
And that's what he's all about. Like, and he's so himself, and he's unapologetically himself, you know? So I have great respect for him. It's not just about the whole relationship thing around it. It's for who he is.
Yes.
You know?
That's why it's so beautiful. Yeah. Because obviously there's a respect there for each other. I just love seeing you out. You're just great together. Like, you're a little back and forth. And all.
He's
like,
a great lad.
I'm just like, you're so cute. Like, you know what I mean? But yeah, he's. It's interesting because I've been thinking. Obviously, I'm doing the podcast with him, so I've been thinking a bit about like. So at first I thought there was a disconnect between, because he's so, and I loved when I gave him a compliment. Like, he took the compliment like as much as he could. Like, he actually like was like, man, thank you so much. Like, I really appreciate. Didn't try. Sometimes there's a tendency, like, and it's all of us when we get a compliment. But what about your stuff? You're good as well.
Pass it off.
I'm just like, no. Like, just when you give a compliment to someone, like I want you to feel the compliment as much as like, because that's why I'm giving it to you. And like I'm not giving it to you so you can go, oh, you're grand as well. Like, you know what I mean? Even though we have to do.
This is an Irish thing as well,
I
isn't
know
it?
it's an awkward thing, but this is why I try to take compliments now as best I can. I actually just go like, oh, thanks, I really appreciate that. And I try to understand, because when I do it for other people, like it's when you need to understand why you do it, and then you can understand when other people are doing it. They're actually, you're compelled, like it's a beautiful thing to compel someone to say something nice about you, because that means you're on the right track. For me, being on the right track is like connecting with people is something that I want to do in the world. So if I can get feedback on that, I'm like, oh, it's more of this, more of that. Like this is going well. Oh yeah, don't, because it's, and then the opposite is true. Imagine I was just kicking people in the shins. And I thought that was great, but no one told me. No one told me they fucking hated me kicking in the shins. Then I just am a prick, but I don't even know. I'm like, oh lads, love this. But lads don't say, stop fucking kicking me in the shins. But he took the compliment really well, and he was so humble about it, and he tried to embody it, I felt. And I was like, and then I was kind of thrown, because he has this sort of ferocity and ferociousness on stage, and I'm like, at first I thought there was a disconnect, but the more I try to understand him, not that I know him that well, hopefully I'll get to know him a bit more. They are the same person, and they overlap, and it's not that one is different than the other. It's like the pain that he speaks to and stuff, like, comes from the care and the humbleness in a weird kind of, because he's so adamant about, he cares so much that's it comes out, and that's the best vehicle for it, to get the message across. Anyway, I'll talk about it more with him, but but no, it's beautiful that you have met, and it's great, like, because you're like, there's obviously like when it comes to like your creative works, like, is both right as well, and obviously get inspired from each other.
Yeah, no, because I've never been with someone who's a writer and an artist as well.
Yeah,
and we have two totally different messages, but we kind of, in some way, meet in the middle as well, because like my work is all about darkness and light, whereas his is all about demons and angels.
Yes.
Do you know that way?
Yes.
Like, and like, it's two totally different contexts. He speaks about the place he's from, I speak about the place within. Do you know? And
Wow.
it's beautiful to actually like come together with someone in life like that.
That's amazing.
It's crazy. Like, do you know, I never thought that would happen in a lifetime. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly.
So, but no, it's great, because you sit around and bounce ideas off each other, like, do you know, and
you don't know what's around the
speaking,
corner
like,
as well. Like like life will just. It's strange, like, because it's hard to when you live a life and you experience certain things, and certain sort of synchronicities, and certain people come into your life. You're like, it makes you just feel like there's something else going on, doesn't it? Like, it does. Like, there's no, like, if you live your life right, and like if you really listen to your life, there's no way you can come away and say there isn't some sort of grander narrative.
Yeah, or something that was leading me down a path. Do you know what I mean? Or something that was speaking to me that I didn't hear. Do you know?
Yes.
Yeah, of course.
There's something, I think, that's the more true we are to ourselves, the less conflict there is between what we want to do and what we're doing. I think the more things open up in a way, and like, there's no like, for me, like, the pinnacle of what I'm doing is always like what I'm doing at the very moment at the top. You know what I mean? And it's all about the process, and everything is always evolving and changing. But you have to. It's just hard, especially when you hear a story like that. You're like, oh, like, it's just a crazy sort of synchronicity of mirroring, and sometimes the souls that are out there, like, there's like a gravity that can kind of pull them together in a way, because I don't know, I think there's a lot of people that could fit a lot of people. I don't think it's like there's like a one true love. Maybe in 7 billion people there's like hopefully there's there's a good pool, because like and then because you have to be born in the right place and time. Maybe there's someone but there's something else as well, like culture. The fact that you resonate on culture and similar sort of potential upbringings and understanding of the world around you to help bring us closer as well. But yeah, look, that was I'm just great. I'm just really happy for you.
Oh, he's great. He's very good looking as well.
Yeah, I like
very
it.
Good
I
looking
like
man.
that beard, man. I just can't grow it. You know what I mean? But yeah, no, it's great to see.
Don't mind that beard. It's only extensions.
Yeah. So yeah. Anyway, look, we fucking harped on for a while now, but really appreciate having on. I think it's been brilliant.
No, thanks for having me.
Really, I'm so happy with that now because that's going to be in the podcast for like generations. That's what I want. More knickknacks, please. Where can people find you? I'm going to put obviously all the links and stuff.
I'm on Instagram mainly at the moment. I'll be doing other things when I get the time to do it, YouTube and stuff like that. But for now, just mainly Instagram. Yeah. Do you know? And I'll be selling pieces like this eventually.
It's brilliant. Like, how did you make this actually?
I bought a shitload of frames, and then I had feathers left over because I used to do a lot of art and crafts and make mad things all the time. So I had them feathers, and then I have.
Is that handwritten?
Books. Yeah, it's handwritten. Yeah.
Oh!
I hate typing unless I have to.
Yeah.
And I hate all this. I'm shy. I could barely use my own phone, so I write all my own poetry down pen and paper or whatever, you know. So more authentic.
It's beautiful. I love it as well.
It kills me OCD though. So
yeah. Oh, don't worry.
I can't look at it anymore. Like, do you know what I mean? But
that's one of the best things anyone's ever given me, I think. And I mean that. It's beautiful.
But I'll be selling a few of them, different prices, different sizes. At some stage.
So keep an eye out, vagabondqueen.com. We'll get you on basilbreen.com/Vagabond Queen. That's what I could do. I could just slash it.
slash.
All the code for my website is freely available as well. I have it open sourced, and it's like there's a link at the bottom. So you can literally copy and paste my whole website, and I couldn't give a fuck. Honestly, you use anything. Like that's what I want to do. I want to.
You're the only person I know that actually has your own website as well.
Because I'm a web developer as well. And basilbreen.com. The .com was available because there's no one else Basil Breen. I
actually saved our name. My phone is basilbreen.com.
I'm actually thinking of changing my usernames, but like because you can't. Anyway.
What is your real name?
Donica.
It's
Donica. My name is Donica Basil Breen. So Basil's my middle name.
But it's the alliteration. That sounds better.
It's the alliteration. It's the spellability. It's the symmetry between. It's like. For me, there's so much in it that I really like about it. They're mostly the same letters as well. I don't know how many letters. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's not do it now because you realise that I'm a fucking retard.
Thanks for having me. See you later.
You can catch her at Smithfield Creatives as well. There's so much. There's other stuff that I wanted to get into, but we've been talking for ages, but that's why there's always round 2. You know what I mean? Because I think it'd be cool to catch up with some people in like at different points in life, depending on how. Because now there's too many people that want to come on. Not too many people. I'm looking forward, actually looking real forward to this new chapter of the podcast, and then I'm trying to get better at being like an interviewer, but I love ranting because I'm learning more in the conversation. I know, but you know what I mean. Like I get so excited by new ideas and then I listen back to it, and then this is my own personal development course. I said, but anyway, Vagabond Queen, get her a fucking anywhere you want. Smithfield Creatives. I'm gonna tag you all in the fucking thing, and we'll see you in the next one.